We are live. Finally. Sorry.
You guys thought we were going to be on at 10 o'clock. That's adorable.
Yeah. So, printer issues, and then I don't know what the fuck's up with the StreamYard shit.
Yeah.
Like I left everything the way it was when we talked to John O'Connor last week. Come back and nothing was working. What the fuck?
Yeah. If you guys expect a seamless show at this point, you haven't been watching long enough.
You got to check out the Josta show or Chris Jericho's shit where they got fucking producers that do other shit for them.
Well, producers and money.
Yeah, and they don't have to deal with it. They just sit down. Like, oh man, everything's working good. Let's go.
Yeah.
We have to get under the hood every once in a
while. Sure enough.
Unfortunately.
Sure enough.
It is what it is. So.
But yeah, we're fashionably late, but we're glad you guys are here. This is the Metalheads Unite podcast. We are back at our regularly scheduled time with our classic format. So we want to thank John O'Connor of One of the Last for coming back on the show last week. Another great visit with him. And we want to extend John and the rest of the band a huge debt of thanks for letting us do the world premiere of their brand new song, which is out now. And the video did release today. So John didn't have to put the producer of the video on blast today. So, he's probably grateful for that the video came out, so he didn't have to incur the wrath of John O'Connor. So, but the single and the video are out now for Red Flag. The single's on Spotify, the video's on YouTube. Check it out on either platform, and I'm sure it's not just on those two. I'm sure it's on Apple Music and all this other stuff. So iHeartRadio, Pandora is probably on all of them. So.
Definitely a good track. And like once when I was seeing the video and after he explained it last week, it kind of made sense once I watched it.
Total.
So I was like, no. Like if I'd have watched it though and not knew, I may have been like,
Well, we definitely.
If you miss information on the show, you have to go back and watch it.
That's right. We definitely wouldn't have known the inspiration for the video had John not told us. That's for sure. So yeah, thanks again to John and One of the Last for that. So, and before we get into this thing, and we will remind everybody at the end of the show, we want to tell everybody right now that we will actually be taking next week off. So, like I say, we'll remind you guys again about that at the end of the show, and we'll put reminders up on all of our social media about that. So, sometimes life gets busy, and sometimes it gets busy at an inopportune time, and life is going to be busy next weekend. So we're just going to we're going to take a week off and kind of do all the personal stuff and get all that stuff taken care of. But we will be back. And we will be back the weekend after that, and we will talk about that weekend at the end of the show. So, Aloha to Amy, and Amy in the chat on YouTube.
Aunt Amy.
Aunt Amy, that's right.
Dana is also messages said he's listening while he's driving.
Listening while driving, yep.
So that might be dangerous.
Yeah. Our friend Dana is out on the road right now, delivering goods across this great nation of ours. So,
think a trucker. So.
That's right.
For what you do have in the store, I mean,
that's right.
So crazy how that was like a big time job when we were growing up. Now nobody wants it.
Yeah, it's strange.
I know, I don't know if I ever talked about this on here, but I talked about it with you before, where my dogs won't eat a certain dog food, and I kept going to the pet store and they didn't have it. I think I finally found it at TSC, and then TSC telling me like, oh yeah, the Purina driver said they have like 2 weeks worth of trailers on the yard, nobody to drive them. I'm like, what?
Oof.
That's freaking crazy. So
that's a hell of a backlog, actually.
So she was like, yeah. So by the time we get done with this, we have to, and we're out for about a week before they bring the next load. Wow, that's
Damn.
crazy. So unfortunately, that's just one of the you know,
That's
things that
strange.
people don't want to do anymore for some reason. So
Yeah, it's weird.
if you're single, I guess it's a good thing to do. But yeah, I mean, I get it if you got a family. It's
That would be tough.
hard to be away for weeks on end.
Mm-hmm. What you got to do is you just got to marry like a significant other, like because there are female truck drivers. So I
Oh yeah.
mean, you just find a significant other that's a truck driver, and then you buy your own, and then you just become owner operators,
Mhm.
and you write your own ticket, and you just drive across the country. Because team drivers also make a shit ton more money.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do because they can drive straight through, almost completely straight through. But yeah, so that's where the team drivers is where the money's at if you're a truck driver.
Either that or find you a good little lot lizard ready to settle down.
None of them are ready to settle down. That's the problem.
Uh, didn't take long for this show to go off the
No,
rails.
what is it? 6 minutes and 13 seconds. That's that might be record time. Actually, I don't know. It might be. Actually, I'm gonna write that down. 6:13
Let's keep
on
that.
10:20. All right, I'm gonna. There we go. I'm gonna write that down. Start keeping track.
Yeah,
But it's got to happen organically. We can't be like, all right, we're gonna tell a dumb joke like
yeah,
at
yeah,
1 minute and 12 seconds or some shit like that. We can't
exactly.
do that. It's got to
Well,
happen on its own.
and knowing me, I'll forget about it by next week. So,
Yeah, probably right.
especially with us not being here.
Yeah. Oh man.
So, kind of talking about next week, since you said that, are you down with at least doing a Halloween themed playlist for
Sure.
them next week? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
do
do
that.
Halloween 2.0 because we've already done one before. So yeah, we'll do our first 2.0 version of a playlist. We've talked about it a few times. We just haven't done it yet. So yeah, I'm down for that.
We haven't really had to go into 2.0 yet, but yeah, it's Halloween and there's a lot. I think there's a lot of stuff that's been released since the last time we did it.
Sure.
So I
Yeah.
think we can get away with it. And we can kind of go back for the last one and make sure we don't repeat.
Right.
That's
Yep.
a good thing, I guess. We can go back and make sure. What the hell? I thought I muted this.
Yep. So what I'll do is I'll actually well, I was going to say I'll send you the screenshot of it, but you can look up the playlist just as easy as I can.
Yeah.
So never mind. But yeah, no, that makes total sense. I'm down for that. It'd be nice to revisit a former topic. I'm down for that.
Man, he's Dana sent us a picture where he's.
I know. I just saw.
Hey man, he's supposed to do that while you're driving. What are you doing?
Yeah, you're really not supposed to do that. Yeah.
Uh,
Get pulled over by a state trooper.
yeah,
Yeah,
do that. So
we don't need any of that.
anyway, uh, like Chris said, top of the show, we had a guest, John O'Connor from one of the last here last week. If you did miss that, I still have not got that on Spotify, but I will have that up this weekend. There was some editing. I got the first part of that edited pretty sweet, but some reason it's not letting me do that second snip where
Hmm.
the mishap happened. So
Yeah, the technical difficulties before we
I was
played the
trying.
song. But
If I have to, I mean, obviously the bigger part of it was on the front end. So I mean, I got that pretty
yeah,
much, and it was. Man, I tell you what, I've never had that much luck with it either, which was crazy because I spliced it and and freaking went back and did it on first take and it was perfect. I said,
oh,
"Oh my,
nice,
I've never done that before." So,
nice.
usually I have to play with it a little bit,
Yeah.
or she does. Which,
Yeah. All right, 9 minutes and 14 seconds. Okay.
the second rail was.
Yeah, we've gone off both. But
Yeah,
but you can still, if you do want to watch the show from last week, it is on YouTube.
still on YouTube.
If you want to watch it on YouTube, you can watch it there. It'll be
On
on
Rumble.
it'll be on Spot.
Rumble. It's on Rumble as well. So
Yep, it's on YouTube and Rumble.
they kind of post together. Every time I go on, I forget that a lot of times. Like go over to Rumble to try to post one of the band interviews. And I'm like, oh shit, it's already on there. So, it's always cool. Damn, he's got a damn system in his
He
truck.
does that. He does have a pretty nice setup back there. Nice.
I'm gonna wait till it gets real quick. You know, uh, okay, my damn buttons don't work on here no more, so I can't do anything.
Yeah. Oh man. All
Anyway,
right. So,
yeah,
yeah. So how many birthdays did we have this past week? Or
well,
2 weeks? I don't know. I don't know if you did 2 weeks of birthdays
yeah,
or not.
I did go back 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because I felt like I dropped the ball and didn't do it like last week, like should have. But I'm gonna try to get better at that. I promise.
Hmm.
Just honestly, a lot of personal doctors visits and stuff has been really like bugging up everything. So
Yeah. Yeah. Life does, get in the way sometimes. It happens.
I got a real bad sinus issues, so I'm trying to like work that out. And then of
Oh,
course,
damn, that sucks.
my wife has issues she's got to work out, so it's usually every other weekend. One of us is going to have
Yeah.
a specialist doing something. Fun. I would love to have just one of my off days to be for me.
Mm-hmm.
Be great. Be great. Yeah. Can't do that until I go on vacation.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Birthdays from October 7th through the 20th. And if you hear or if I missed one, let me know because, like I said, it was 2 weeks and it was like
Mhm.
feels like a blur at this point. So,
Yeah.
uh, so October 7th, I had Tico Torres, drummer for Bon Jovi. I didn't have anything for the 8th. October 9th, we had Sharon Osbourne. Of course, that's wife and manager of Ozzy.
Yeah.
And we had Al Jurgensen, a vocalist for Ministry. Terry Balsamo, guitarist for Evanescence. Then October 10th, we had the one and only David Lee Roth, vocalist of Van Halen. Eric Martin, vocalist of Mr. Big. And we had Lizzie Hale, of course, vocalist and guitarist for Hailstorm. And we had Isan, vocalist, guitarist, and keyboards for Emperor. Bradley Trotter, drummer for Existing in Exile, which they just came off a successful Japanese tour. Congrats to those guys.
Yes, they did.
Then we had William Savant, guitarist for Sepsis, which has been on the show before. So,
Yes.
and, he's a real shy guy. He don't like
No, he doesn't like talking at all. You got to pry the answers out of him.
No, you can say certain words and he gets rolling. Man.
Yeah, he does.
It was such a I think that was one of the easiest interviews we ever did.
It really was. We just kind of sat back and let him rant for about 2 hours, two and a half, whatever it was.
Much of nothing, man. Like, dude knows this shit. So he definitely has the business side of things pretty well.
Pretty well scouted, yeah.
So he knows he's not going to put his band in a fucked up situation. That's for damn sure. So. October 11th, we have Mike Smith, guitarist for Snot and Limp Bizkit. Then we had October 12th, we had Jeff Keith, vocalist for Tesla. October 13th, we had the Sammy Hagar, of course, from Van Hagar, or Hagar.
Right.
Of course, his solo band. Then we had Joey Belladonna, vocalist for Anthrax. Michael Levine, he was a portrait photographer and contributor to several of the grunge rock album art packages, including Nirvana and Soundgarden. Pretty. I always like to call those guys out if it's available to me. So, because that's a big part of. I mean, you think about it, we talk about album covers all the time. That's a big part of an album. I mean,
Yep.
to us anyway. It's like, and you'll find that out at the end of the year if you follow.
Yeah, you will. It's actually one of our favorite parts of the album. I mean, aside from the music, of course, but I mean, like the actual visual presentation.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And of course, that can be deceiving sometimes too.
That's true.
I have picked one up and like, so I wonder what this sounds like, and I've listened to it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, you literally can't judge things by their cover sometimes. Books, CDs, and yeah.
Also on October 13th, which was last Friday, we had John Micah Sumross, vocalist for Cutlass. So going into this week, October 14th through the 20th. This is where Chris, I'm sure, will be taking note. October 14th, we had Colin Hodgkinson, bassist for White Snake, back in the early years, matter of fact. Then we had Dan McCafferty, vocalist of Nazareth. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2022. We had Al Atkins, original vocalist for Judas Priest from 69 to 73. We had AJ Pero, drummer for Twisted Sister, who unfortunately he passed away in 2015. I pretty much think that was the end for Twisted Sister when he passed. I think that was just pretty much. I think D and everybody was just like, yeah, we're not doing anything without AJ. So
Yeah, I think they were done.
they just don't do any reunions or nothing because of that. I think so.
And then earlier this week, not to jump ahead too far, but earlier this week, D said he was like, "I'm done with the solo albums too." He said he's just not feeling it anymore. So,
Yeah, I think I had that in my headline or
oh
something.
shit, sorry, sorry.
There's plenty of shit in there without worrying about one. And then this one from the 14th, I'm going to go with uh, Angelo Sapertrita's pronunciation because it's not pronounced that way on their Wikipedia. Uh,
Okay,
but Davish Alvarez, the guitarist for Angelo Sapertrita,
right,
it says David in his Wikipedia thing, which I was like, I think I'm going to trust the band on that one.
right, yeah, I'm right there with you.
I think they've been around him a lot longer. Uh,
Yeah,
so happy birthday to him. And then he got another birthday present today, I guess. So
yeah, he did. We all got a birthday present from Angel Sapatrita today.
yeah, yes, we did. Also, October 15th, we had Frank Domino, vocalist for Angel. We had Jerky 69, a vocalist for the 69 Eyes. Then we had Tony Asta, vocalist for our friends at Finality. So, yeah. Then we had October 16th, we had Tony Carey, a keyboardist and singer songwriter for Rainbow. We had Chad Gray, vocalist for Hell Yeah and Mudvayne. We had Ethan Luck, guitarist for Demon Hunter from 2005 to 2009. Then we had October 17th, we had Alan West. No, not Batman. We had guitarist for Obituary and South Wicked. Michael Kean, not Keaton. That's kind of funny. Wow. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
Michael McKeon, singer guitarist for Spinal Tap. Then we didn't have anything on the 18th that I've seen. So then I skipped to October 19th, which we had Joe Duplantier, guitarist and vocalist for Gojira. Pete Loeffler, guitarist and singer-songwriter for Chevelle. And then we had Henry Trollhorn Sorvali, a guitarist for Moon Sorrow. And then October 20th, which is today, we had Fred Coury, drummer for Cinderella, and Mitch Lucker, vocalist for Suicide Silence, which he unfortunately passed away in 2012.
nice. I didn't have any extras, and I don't have any personal ones this week either. So,
Good deal then. So happy birthday to all of those. And then if you had a birthday this week, happy birthday to you as well. And I guess we will kick into some news of the week.
yep, news of the week was
Some happenings.
yeah, we did have some happenings, and I'm going to lead off with one that didn't happen in the past week, but did happen the week before. But considering that we did have a guest on the 13th, we didn't have a current event segment with John being on the show, and this one is especially relevant considering everything that's going on in the Middle East right now. We won't dwell on that too much, but this is directly the result of that. This is at multiple outlets, but I went with metalsucks.net, so we're going to lead off with this one. We're sad to report that after learning that ex-Desolated bassist Jake Marlowe was missing following the deadly attacks on Israel last weekend, it's since been confirmed that he is among the dead. He was working at the Supernova Music Festival near Kibbutz Re'im near the Gaza border at the time of the attack. He was 26 years old. As previously reported, Marlowe was working as a security guard for the festival when Hamas's deadly incursion across the Gaza-Israeli border began. The attack took place during the Jewish holiday Simchat Torah, and so far more than 250 have been found dead at the music festival. More than 100 were held captive. His death was confirmed by the Israeli embassy in London on Wednesday afternoon. His parents, Lisa and Michael Marlowe, released the following statement. Quote from Lisa and Michael Marlowe, "We are heartbroken to have to inform you the crushing news that our son Jake has been confirmed dead in southern Israel. Repatriation plans are being put into place. More information will follow. Please respect our privacy at this moment, at this most devastating time." End quote. Sadly, Marlowe's death is just one of many in the region as innocent civilians on both sides of the conflict continue to bear the brunt of the violence. Marlowe initially came to Israel in 2021 to get in touch with his Jewish roots. In an interview with inews.co.uk, Marlowe's friend Daniel Aboudi elaborated on the musician's decision to migrate to Israel. Quote, Marlowe felt that it was his duty to trace back to his roots and find his home that he felt he truly belonged to in Israel. He also had a desire to enlist in the army at one point, but unfortunately wasn't given the opportunity to do so. He was very determined to fight for what we believed in as the Jewish people, end quote. We want to extend our deepest sympathies and condolences to Marlowe's friends, family, and former bandmates during this impossibly difficult time, and we want to echo those sentiments from Metal Sucks here at the Metalheads Unite podcast.
It's horrible, man. Like we talk about that, but there's been a lot of. I think the thing that bothers me and why I don't keep up with it is because of the children and kids that get hurt in those situations. I think that tears me up worse than anything, dude. Like it pisses me off to know
Oh, it's infuriating.
that you're taking you're taking lives that have no side
Mm-hmm.
in the matter, and you don't. You can say oh well they'll wind up like that anyway. You don't know that. I mean,
Right.
you honestly don't. Um,
Yeah. You want to fight a war, with the soldiers on the other side that are there right now.
because to me, you're killing innocent kids, and so that's just you're just a coward.
Yep. But I mean, man, I don't really want to get into this too much
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
it really. But I'll just say this: that's the way they do things over there.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Cowardly.
the way they do things over there. They've proven it time and again. That's just how they do things over there. And
Well,
I'll just leave it at that.
hopefully they'll get resolved. Before
Sooner than later, absolutely.
it's too. I mean, we were already too far.
Yeah, it already has gone on
It
too
went
long.
too far day one. So,
Yeah,
but I mean, those countries have been fighting for
way too long.
1,000 years. So,
Yeah,
uh,
way too long.
so it's probably never going to end. But I just hate to see innocent children suffer from it, and not have a say so in life. Period. So,
Mm-hmm. Never even have a chance. Yeah.
yeah. So, all right, my first one's over from Metal Injection. Um, kind of you know, not totally metal, but the hardcore punk outfit. They say hardcore punk, but Sick of It All has some pretty good stuff. Is soon legendary hip hop duo Mob Deep, Kijan Machida, aka Havoc, and the estate of Albert Johnson, aka Prodigy, over copyright infringement. The suit, which was filed on behalf of Sick of It All by record label Bush Baby, it's Zamagate Inc., arises out of defendants' improper and illegal use of a nearly identical logo marked to plaintiffs' inherently distinctive, inconsistable, and famous logo. Okay, I'm gonna stop just a second because there's a key word in this: nearly identical. So
I have seen the pictures.
I think that's where you kind of just fuck yourself when you say
Yeah.
nearly identical. Okay, well if it's nearly identical, it's not identical. So, so I mean, we were nearly identical twins, except for our noses.
Can you have fraternal logos?
Yeah, I don't know. The logo in question is Sick of It All's famous dragon logo, which, according to Hip Hop DX, Mob Deep has used on and off since at least 1997. The suit states that Sick of It All has used the logo since '87. You can see the comparison images in the pictures that they showed over there. Clothing brand Supreme is also mentioned in the suit because of a collaboration they did with Mob Deep earlier this year. The suit also mentions the Sick of It All asked Mob Deep to stop using the logo 2 other times in the past, and that the group agreed. Now the label representing Sick of It All asked that Mob Deep and Supreme be forbidden from using the infringing mark or any other mark or marks confusingly similar thereto, alone or in combination with other words, names, styles, titles, designs, or marks in connection with the provision of any goods and services. They're also seeking compensatory damages. As of right now, Mob Deep has not responded to the lawsuit. So, asked to do so a couple times. You didn't do it. Why would you respond?
Yeah. Well, they're gonna have to respond eventually somehow, but
Oh yeah, I mean in court,
yeah,
more or less.
that's what I mean.
But
I don't
yeah, I
know.
mean,
Like I
you know,
said,
it's
go ahead.
it's one of those things where you're almost in a a time where things have been going so long. I mean, you got to think if you want to go back to just music in general, you're talking about metal in the late '60s. till now. I mean, it's obvious some stuff is going to get like kind of, I guess, redesigned, I guess you could say, from something older and make it something newer. You know what I mean? And whether it changes the color or
Mm-hmm.
you know maybe there was a woman on like a Great White Album. Now there's a guy on it. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
I mean, with the same shark bite image or something. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like it's almost hard to be uh, you know original at this point. I mean, we've
Yeah.
said that about some riffs and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
before. It's like, oh, well, that sounds like so and so, but it's hard to not be. I mean, it's hard to not be. It's hard to be original with a lot of that stuff because
Yeah.
we've been around a long time. There's been a lot of freaking bands, so
Yeah.
and a lot of bands out there that's not still it's not around today that
Mm-hmm.
had some distinctive songs in the 80s and
Yeah.
90s.
Well, this kind of thing always reminds me of the Avenged Sevenfold and Overkill thing with the Death Bat.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
reminds me of that. But of course all that stuff was kind of like worked out. So I mean, there's not any like bad blood or any butting of heads over that. But but there are similarities between the two. But like I say, I saw the two pictures, and the one thing I didn't know is that like when you were reading the story, they're talking about how they did agree to stop using the logo two other times. I mean, at this point.
You're doing it just because you want to.
Right. So I mean that's definitely not going to help their case, but there
It's
are
just
there are there are definitely some similarities there, but at the same time you got to prove intent, but
yeah.
it doesn't help your case when you agreed to stop using the logo and then you're still using it. So you're not making yourself look very good. So
It's true.
we'll see. All right, moving over to the PRP. Bury Your Dead drummer Mark Castillo and his girlfriend recently lost their home and the majority of their personal belongings in a house fire, which took place on October 18th. Mark's bandmate, Bury Your Dead vocalist Matt Brusso, and his wife Angie Brusso have since launched this GoFundMe to get the couple back on their feet. Hyperlink in the story. The Brussos commented, quote, "On Wednesday, October 18th, Mark Castillo and his girlfriend Hillary Reed's home was destroyed in a devastating fire. While the home will be covered by insurance, the complete and total loss of all their personal belongings will never be fully recognized and will never be recovered from. We have set up this GoFundMe to ask everyone who has ever had their lives touched by Mark and Hillary to help them get through the coming years as they try to get their lives back in order. Anyone who knows Mark knows he is the most kind person you could hope to meet. His talent as a drummer has inspired many. His contributions to so many bands over the years has influenced a huge audience. Bury Your Dead, Immure, Between the Buried and Me, and Crossfade are just a few of the bands Mark has been a part of, and the members of every band he has ever toured with will tell you he is a very caring, positive, incredibly humble musician. Hillary is no less caring. She is no stranger to putting others before herself. Running her small farm in New Hartford, Connecticut, she looks after numerous animals, and while we are all grateful that none of the animals were hurt in the fire, their lives have also been affected. Hillary will have to tend to them without a home on the property. While Hillary and Mark both have lost their shelter and all their things, Hillary's primary focus in this time will be on the well-being of the animals in her care. The logistics of piecing a life back together are impossible to navigate, and the items of personal significance Mark and Hillary have lost will never be replaced. The purpose of the fund is to help Mark and Hillary get access to much needed cash to help where insurance falls short. It may be food, furniture, lost wages, or something to tend to the animals. All we know is they are going to need the support, and there are none more deserving, end quote. So, like I say, there is a hyperlink in the story. The GoFundMe was just launched a couple days ago. It's currently at $8,945 of a $50,000 goal. 132 people have already donated as of me opening the link here. So if there's anything you guys can do to help, head on over to GoFundMe and let me see. Let me open this back up. See, it says help Mark and Hillary recover from a house fire. So if you just want to Google, I guess, Mark and Hillary, or not Google it, but when you go to GoFundMe, if you want to search for Mark and Hillary, it probably come up. There is a big picture of a house on fire. It would probably kind of be hard to miss. So,
Yeah.
so good luck to them.
That that's a pretty good resume he had there. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious how if any of those bands are going to help him at all. So
Oh, I'm sure they will.
seeing as they all of them talk highly of him. So I mean,
Yeah.
you would hope that they would pitch in and do something.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. There are, like I say, they're already almost 20% of the way to their proposed goal, and not even really 48 hours into the GoFundMe. So I mean, they're already off to a good start.
Good. Hopefully they get what they need to
Right.
get
Every
it.
little bit helps.
All right, this one over from Metal Sucks. Last time we reported on We Came as Romans, we were talking about the band getting robbed. Well, these dudes just can't seem to catch a break. They recently got denied entry into Canada, which is crazy because they're not even a real. That's not even a real country anyway. But
They're not even a real country anyway.
uh, the, the band is currently touring with Amour, Body Snatcher, and Archetypes Collide, and they had to cancel their Toronto show on October 18th at the Danforth Music Hall when they couldn't get into the country. Due to reasons beyond our control, we are forced to cancel tonight's show at Danforth Music Hall. Ticket refunds are available at your point of purchase. We're sorry to disappoint our fans. We hope to be back soon. We came as Romans. All we know right now is that We Came as Romans had trouble entering the country due to their carnet, a customs permit allowing their vehicle into Canada. Oh, gotcha. And that ticket cost will be refunded. Uh, and after that somewhat cryptic message, a concerned fan reached out in response, and We Came as Romans assured they were fine, but for some reason kept out of the country. While this sucks for everyone involved, we're glad to that we're glad we're damn we're glad to know that nothing worse has happened to the band. It just turns out that traveling between borders can be a pain in the ass.
Yeah. They came as Romans, but they didn't come as citizens. So,
Yeah, they came as Romans, but couldn't get into Canada because maybe that's why they couldn't
mhm.
get into Canada.
Yeah, maybe. Or
Maybe
maybe they didn't have square tires on their car. Maybe that's what it was.
that was what was that? I mean, luckily there wasn't 300 Spartans with them.
That's true. That's
Kicked
true.
the door in.
Yeah, that's damn right.
You see him going across the border and kicking the damn toll booth guy, like just, whatever it is there, the border patrol guy, like
Yeah.
kick his ass across the fence.
Hmm.
Sparta,
Hell yeah, dude.
just kick that mother.
Just a standing front kick to the chest. Hell yeah, dude.
I mean, I don't know the laws there, but that's kind of like it seemed like it was just the car issue. Maybe not them. Maybe just getting their car over. I don't know. That's what it
Yeah,
seemed.
I don't know. That does seem weird.
Yeah. So I mean, if you I was always told, like, especially when we just went to Mackinac Island in Michigan, and you kind of know that area. So I was
Hmm.
told, another friend of mine from that area said, "Hey, make sure you don't go too far north."
Yeah, you will run into Canada. You
he
absolutely
said
will.
he said getting in ain't gonna be the problem. They just ain't gonna want to let your ass back across the border into the states. I was like, what? I was like, he said, yeah, it's a. He said, even though you got a driver's license, they still try to give you shit. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like, I was like, how many people probably go through that like on a daily basis that don't pay attention and miss that last exit and then they're fucked? I mean,
Well, I, I don't know how often that happens because I haven't been to the border crossing into Canada up there at the Upper Peninsula, but I do know that when you go into Detroit and you're going either to the bridge, and of course they're building a second bridge, but right now you just have the Ambassador Bridge and you just have the tunnel. And either way that you're going, you take the bridge to Canada, the tunnel to Canada, everything is marked extremely well.
yeah,
Because like I say, you take I-94 into Detroit coming from Ann Arbor, and the signage is everywhere. And there is one exit where you take the exit, and if you go one way, you're going to go to the border crossing, and if you go another way, you're going to go into another part of Detroit. But like I say, the signage is is very very prevalent and frequent.
and
So it
in
so
that case, you may want to take your chances with the border.
Right. So going into Detroit from experience, if you end up at the border crossing by accident, then something's going on with you because like I say, if you didn't know where you were going in Detroit as far as the border crossing, you weren't paying attention and you probably shouldn't be driving anyway because like I say, signs are everywhere.
Uh,
It would be, to me, it would be hard to end up at the border crossing by mistake.
yeah, I told him I wasn't going that far up. That's why I don't think I'm going that far up
No,
anyways.
you're not. You just went across the St. Ignace. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not, not too worried about it. He said, yeah, but he said, just be careful. I'm like, all right.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. As I like, and I was like, is that really? I was trying to think, is that really an issue? Because I mean, like, I was like you. I was thinking, like, hell, man, it's got to be. It's like the fucking Carter Creek Bridge out there where you got 50 signs saying, hey, 10-foot bridge, and these 14-foot trucks still miss like
Yeah.
all
And
10.
they still hit it. Yep. On an
uh,
almost weekly basis.
yeah, the old Carter's Creek can opener down there. So,
That's right. 10 foot 10 means 10 foot 10.
yeah. And we're not lying when we say there is a truck that hits it about every week, at least
Mm-hmm.
one. At least one. Most of the time it gets 2 or 3 a week. So
Yeah, sometimes.
crazy.
Yep. All right, staying over at the PRP. Pacific Northwest metalcore outfit Dying Wish have issued the below post that reveals that their guitarist Pedro Carrillo recently lost two of his guitars as a result of his car being broken into. The below details were shared of that. And this is on X. Portland, please keep an eye out /share. Pedro's car windows were smashed and they grabbed his Inky with two guitars. We leave for tour in a matter of days. Please let us know if you see these on any online marketplace or pawn shop. Thank you. And then, there's a picture of the car itself, and then there's a picture of the N key with, which had and then a picture of the guitars and everything. The setback took place just days prior to the band heading out on the below headlining run in support of their forthcoming album, Symptoms of Survival, which will be out on November 3rd. And then the tour dates are below, which we have talked about on the Hitting the Road segment. I don't know what it is with Portland, but
Shit.
Portland sucks, because this isn't the first band that has gone to Portland and has been a victim of having their vehicles broke into and their band gear stolen. So,
Well, well, I mean,
Portland, you kind of suck.
look at their history. I mean, they went around and was supposedly protesting against what was it, the police and all that shit down there, but they were tearing up their own people's fucking property. Like that's the stupidest. Why don't you go fucking police station inside out, motherfucker? If you're mad at them, like shit, don't be fucking your neighbor up from trying to make a living. Like, well,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And Amy and N key is basically just a rolling guitar case.
As Dana said, he's out. So
all right, Dana, take care, buddy.
Be safe out there.
Keep your head up out there, man.
And then your aunt Amy said math must be hard for some people. Talking about the missing hazards up there. So that and the can opener.
Right.
Sorry, I was trying to get back down to the.
Oh no, you're fine.
Where I could comment back and then started posting everybody's shit. Like, hey, sorry, technology hates me this week, and which is crazy because I work with it every day. So
yeah,
with about 30 fucking windows up. So maybe that's what it is. I'm not used to the 3 windows. Maybe that's
maybe you need more tabs open. Is that what you're saying?
More tabs, man. Like, it's too simple.
Yeah, you never know. You really don't.
Yeah. All right, this one over from Metal Sucks as well. Back in the mid and late 90s, new metal pioneers Korn had a specific look that borrowed from the same love of sportswear that hip hop artists had at the time. Skate shoes, track suits, and the like were part of the uniform. And despite a brief attempt at securing a deal with Adidas, that fell through, and the band's move to Puma was all but solidified. Yet earlier this year, we learned that a collaboration between the Bakersfield, California-based band and the German athletic apparel brand that would bring about a Korn-branded line of shoes and clothes. We learned that the various designs and what the final products would likely look like through internal documents that made their way outside the company. How that doesn't happen. That don't happen. Come on. Yeah, like some other countries got documents for America or something. And now we know, thanks to the official announcement from the Korn and Adidas, that those leaks were true. For the first time ever, Adidas Originals and Korn are releasing a specific collection of clothing specifically designed around the band's sophomore album, Life is Peachy. The 1996 album that featured ADIDAS in the track list, which that ain't what it meant. all day I dream about sex.
Yep.
Just set for a release next Friday. The Korn and Adidas project will feature two sneakers called the Campus Zero Zeros, guessing that's 2000s, and the Super Modified, as well as the two graphic T-shirts, a three-stripe hoodie with the band's logo on the front, and two signature takes on the quintessential Adidas original tracksuits, one in black and white accents, and one with purple sequins. I mean, Elvis it up a little bit.
Yeah. That
uh,
sucks. You can't get the red one from the Got the Life video.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Not that I would ever wear a tracksuit because I would probably look like Gino from the Mob or something if I did.
How you doing?
He's that 275-pound guy walking around in a jumpsuit. He with the mafia. uh, yeah, I don't ever say nothing. I just go,
yeah.
get him, Joey. That's what uh, anyway, while this may seem like a brand new news to most metalheads, if you're a shoe collector, you probably already know about this since last February, as Kicksfinder had the first details way back then. Eagle-eyed fans might have noticed those clothes earlier this year when Korn took the stage for Sick New World, as the band was rocking the line right out there in the open. Look at that. Thought it was, though it would be hard to miss Jonathan Davis's flashy purple sequin tracksuit. According to initial yet unconfirmed reports, the items will have a hefty price tag, of course, with Campus Zero Zero's shoes coming in at $130, while the super modified shoes will set you back $140. The two T-shirts could cost $50 for one style, $60 for the other, while the hoodie will cost $120. As for the full tracksuits, the purple sequin will cost around $120 for the pants and $180 for the top, so $300 for a damn tracksuit.
Screw that.
While the black and white tracksuits will cost $100 for the top and $80 for the pants. We'll have to wait till October 27th when it drops on confirmed and the Adidas app to find out the actual prices and availability. But if you're a fan of that look and love Korn, you might want to save up your cash now, just in time for Christmas. Get tracksuit.
Mm-hmm. I'll admit that I'll admit the shoe prices aren't terrible, but
I mean, you think Jordans probably cost that. So,
Jordans cost like $2 easy.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you know what I mean. Like you can get you can probably get a pair of Jordans for that, just not the newer ones.
Right. So I mean, I'm actually surprised that the shoes are the price that they are. That's not horrible, but what they want for even the t-shirts, 50 or 60, get out of here with that noise. The clothes are too expensive.
Yeah,
the clothes are too high.
That's they call some what's that damn sax shit or something.
It's like affliction price. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not paying. I have a hard time paying $50 for a pair of jeans.
I don't pay $50 for jeans if I can help.
I don't either, but I mean, if I had to, I would. But I'm just saying, I have a hard time doing that.
Yeah,
I'm usually in one of the Raw's TJ Maxx.
Same. Cold.
Mainly because I fluctuate so much, like with my weight, and it's not like a problem. It's just because of things that go on in life, and I don't get to the gym like I used to. Like I've had dealing with pneumonia the last month, so I had 2 rounds of that. So I'm still on my last week of antibiotics with that. So I'm like, can't wait to get back in the gym. It's like dying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to die on the treadmill either. So,
well, yeah, that wouldn't be great.
I want to make sure I'm good before I go out and try to overwork myself. I can't, in your 20s you can do that shit, man. When you hit your 40s, you overwork yourself. Your body definitely lets you know about it.
Yeah, you got to pace yourself for sure at this point. Alrighty. Next, the rest of my stories are at the PRP. I'm just going to get that out of the way right now. My next one, drummer Steven Arango. No, not Tarango. That's not even how my last name's pronounced anyway. Drummer Steven Arango has announced his exit from Traitors in a post shared via his social media earlier today on October 17th. So obviously this was from 3 days ago. He revealed he will be stepping down from the Floridian deathcore group. Here's what he had to say. It's been a great time the last 10 years with this team, but I feel it's time now more than ever to try different musical experiences and opportunities while I still can. So, with that being said, I will be stepping down from Traders. Hope to see these guys keep flourishing and killing the game. Expect to see new music soon from something I've been working on for the last few months, as well as can expect seeing me filling in on drums for a few touring acts in the next coming months. Excited to start this new part of my journey and sharing more with you all. Be safe, camp. It's been a pleasure. End quote. His departure from the group follows him being sidelined by a broken hand after fending off a mugger in Las Vegas this past May, and I'm pretty sure we talked about that. Thus far, an official replacement for Arango does not appear to have been announced. So, if and when that does happen, we'll let you guys know.
It's sad. So, look, I thought I just seen those guys this year or something. So, can't remember.
You may have.
I want to say they opened up for Born of Osiris. I could be wrong. I have to look that up again. But I said, like, a lot of times I see so much shit I can't remember. So.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I say that, then I look back and I say, "Oh shit, that was like 2020." I feel like it was 2 weeks ago. I don't
Yeah,
know.
further back than you remember.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like either that or I'll get them mixed up. Like some bands I'll get mixed up with, like, oh, this band opened for this band, and then I was like, oh no, that was another show at Marathon.
Right. Yeah.
So it all kind of runs together at some point. And that's why I keep concert tickets, because that way
Mm-hmm.
I remember who was where.
Right.
All right, this one over at Metal Sucks. If you ever wanted to get your greasy mug into a next quarter music video, now's your chance. All you got to do is get your ass to the Southgate House Revival in Newport, Kentucky on November 7th for a free concert and filming session for a band's first single off their upcoming album. Set for release early next year, X-Hoarder's new yet unannounced LP will be the band's follow-up to 2019's Mourn the Southern Skies. According to a post on the band's social media accounts, on November 7th, show will be free for attendees, and the first 100 people to show up will get a free drink on the band. Uh, Doors will open at 7 with music kicking off an hour later at 8. According to the band, they'll be playing a set of classic tracks rather than focus on just the new single. The as of yet unnamed new LP will be the band's first, with ex Cannibal Corpse guitarist Pat O'Brien in the fold after Marzi Montazeri left because he decided to no longer be a part of X-Order. Fans got their first glimpse of the band's new lineup during 2022 Maryland Death Fest. The Louisiana-based thrash metal act has a new album coming in early next year, and as such, working on a new single, and its accompanying music video is underway. So yeah, if you're going to be in the Newport, Kentucky area next month, you've got a chance to get on a next quarter music video. So,
That would be fun.
too bad that's on a weekday, I think. So.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird, but it is what it is. Timing just
I mean,
is what it is.
it's going to save them some money because 100 people may not show up on a weekday.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Hell, I would go. I'd go if it wasn't on a weekday. Shit, I'd go and get a chance to get into a music video.
I think it is because I think because the fourth is on a Friday, so I mean that's like a fourth, fifth, sixth.
Fourth is a Saturday, isn't it?
Is it? Oh yeah, you're right. Because
November 4th is a Saturday. So what date was it again? I forget.
the 7th. So
Yeah, it's a Tuesday. Yeah,
yeah.
Tuesday.
Not even ladies' night. Like, come on.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah, but I'm looking, man. I actually forgot about X Hoarders. I think we had talked about it before when we first heard about it releasing or posted on our page or something,
Mm-hmm.
the group page. But I was just like, man, this is just like 2024 is just going to be so fucking. Like I thought we had problems this year. Like 2024 is going to be unreal.
Yeah, well, and earlier I posted something a day or two ago where Exodus's new album is going to be out next year too. So
yeah, I think I had that in the.
Hell, we're gonna have New Testament. We're gonna have New Testament and Exodus next year,
and Death Angel,
and Death and Anthrax.
Yeah. So you got
and
every
Judas Priest.
Every band from the Bass Strikes Back is going to have an album next year. So.
They need to go back out on tour, all three of them at the same time. I'll go twice again next year. I don't care.
4 times.
Yeah, I need a new Exodus shirt anyway. So
there's more Exodus news in the headlines too. So.
Nice. All right. Anberlin have enlisted Memphis Mayfire vocalist Maddie Mullins as their new touring vocalist. Vocalist keyboardist Stephen Christian has stepped down from his live activities with the group to on what the group describe as hiatus, though he will remain a member. In the below video, Christian outlines how he decided to step down from the outfit to focus on his family and community. It's understandable. Initial commentary from Mullins on his new role is also shared. Christian will be playing a pair of final shows before stepping down from the group indefinitely, and those shows are December 14th and 15th in Tampa at the Ritz Ybor featuring Hawthorne Heights. Commenting in a separate post on social media, Mullins stated, quote, "In regards to me signing for Amberlin, dear Memphis Mayfire fans, nothing about MMF is changing. ANB MMF, like I'm reading this the way it's written, so if it's goofy, that's not my fault. ANB MMF will have different touring schedules, and MMF is still my number one priority. Lots of announcements to come. Dear Amberlin fans, I'm sure many of you aren't familiar with me yet, so let's get acquainted. I've been in a band called Memphis Mayfire for the last 15 years. Amberlin was the first rock band I convinced my wife to listen to when we were 15 years old. It was at one of their concerts that I told her I was falling for her. Now we've been married for 17 years. Blueprints for the Black Market taught me a lot in my early years of writing and recording music, and I've loved all of A and B ever since. I know I'm not Steven, and I won't even try to be, but him asking me to fill this role was an unbelievable honor, and I will give 110% every night to give y'all the captivating and high energy performance you're used to seeing from A and B. I've spent a good amount time with A and B dudes over the last few months, preparation for what's to come, and they've made me feel like family. Can't wait for y'all to see, hear what's on the way. To a killer 2024 full of MMF A and B awesomeness. Respectfully, Maddie Mullins, end quote. So there you go.
Cool. It's cool that there's a connection there too. So
Yeah. One of those kind of small world things, you know? It's like, oh shit, yeah.
So you probably got that comment like, for real?
Right. Probably, hell, he may probably have thought at first they were just
Fucking with him, yeah.
trolling him or something. It's like, shut up, get out of here. You know.
All right, this is my last story over at Blabbermouth. In a new interview with Fish of the Q105.1 Rocks radio station in Fargo, North Dakota, Fozzy frontman Chris Jericho was asked if he thinks releasing music digitally helps bands like Fozzy in the long run, or if he believes that the goal is always to get physical copies into the fans' hands. He responded, as transcribed by Blabbermouth.net, I've never felt that. You've got to ride the wave. You gotta be ahead of the curve. It's just not prudent to have physical copies in this day and age. What's the physical copy even of? It's great to have the vinyls or fans who want to hold those records in their hands and get them. I'm a big fan of that, but at this day and age, nobody really has anything physical. Books and movies and music, it's all on your phone. It's and that's what that's I'm sorry, and that's kind of the way the world right now is. And and to kind of what and to kind of want physical copies, you're almost a dinosaur at this point in time. Hey, fuck you. And, and you could probably try and get your 8-track cassette revigorated as well. So I don't have a problem with the way the world is now. He continued, obviously, I loved buying records when I was a kid, waiting for that record to come out. Things have kind of changed in that way. And it's more about, like I said, the convenience and the short attention spans. And I think right now TikTok, our new song Spotlight, which is probably about 15-second version of it, is blowing through the roof. They haven't even heard the whole song and they don't even want to. 15 seconds was enough. We're like this 30 um, this 30 what the hell? 30 negative. You know what the, like this 30 negative 15-second 30 negative 15-second clip, uh, and we'll listen to that. I don't know what that means. So kind of fucked up writing the way that was.
Maybe 30, maybe he meant to say 15 to 30, but he said 30 to 15, maybe.
Maybe I don't know. Well, maybe he said 15 to 30 and they typed it wrong. I don't know.
That's also a possibility.
I copy and paste. I'm not a proofreader, unfortunately, for them, but whoever is ain't doing their job either. But so it's just kind of how the world is in the way the new world, in the way people consume music, and I'm cool with that. I'd rather be ahead of the curve than fighting behind it. This past May, Jericho told Rock 100.5, the Cats Cameron Buckhouse, that he believed Fozzy's days of doing full length records were done. We spent the better part of 3 years on 2022's Boombox, and we had 3 top 10 hits: "Saying Nowhere to Run" and "I Still Burn," and we played the 3 other songs live: "The Vulture Club," "Purifier," and "Relax." But the other 6 songs were kind of gone, like they're like reciting in the Fozzy Dead Song Burial Ground, because you can't really play them live because you can only do so much new material live because we have so many other songs we have to do, and they weren't released as singles. So you spend all the time on "Army of One" and "Omen" and "Worst Is Yet to Come." Those are all great tunes. "My Great Wall," "Ugly on the Inside," those could all be hits. So instead of releasing those type of songs on an album where they're not going to be heard, we're going to, I think, start releasing one song at a time. And instead of waiting 2 years for a Fozzy record, you'll get there'll be a new song every 4 or 5 months, which is kind of what John O'Connor's theory was with the
Mhm.
new EP2, which is kind of interesting. So I think that's the way to do it, and that's what we're going to start doing. We're actually working on our new song right now, which should be out hopefully this fall. Which it came out today. So
Right.
Jericho previously floated the possibility of Fozzy focusing on singles in an interview with April at Alt 105.1 radio station. He said that one time, "I think we're going to try to going forward, just release a single every 3 or 4 months." It's kind of repetitive, but um, because that's what you're going to do is to put out a great record. You spend so much time on every one of the songs, meticulously creating them, and they're your children, and then they just never really, unless you buy the record, listen to the record. So there's only so many songs you can play live, like you said before, from a new album. Which I don't know about that. Like if it's your show, man. If you want to
Yeah,
play the
change. Yeah,
whole fucking record, like
yeah, just sprinkle. Like
yeah,
he was talking about 6 of the 12 songs. All right, well, you're going out this time. You want to play those 6.
yeah,
Play
play
the
it.
others. Play the other 6 the next time you go out. I mean, you kind
There's
of do
options,
have say what's played when you're on stage. I mean, obviously you want to play the songs that people are there to see.
right?
They're there to see and hear. But at the same time, how do you know that they won't like those other songs if you don't play them at some point?
Yeah, I think if he didn't play Judas at a show, they'd probably riot. So,
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you have to play. There's songs you have to play. I get that. You have to play certain songs. But, you don't have to stick to the same set list every tour. You don't have to. And I
he
don't
did
mind I don't mind. I don't want LPs to ever go away.
right,
But at the same time, like when Slipknot released All Out Life, they released All Out Life against as a standalone single ahead of We Are Not Your Kind. I'm all
right.
for that. You want to release some singles? That's totally fine. And like say John was telling us that they're going to release singles. Red Flag just came out. A couple months from now, the next one will come out. And then
Yeah,
in June, they're all going to be released together as an EP. I don't even mind that. I don't
yeah.
even mind that. But I don't ever want to see LPs go away. And I don't think they'll go away completely. I don't think they ever will. And I hope they don't because I still like the anticipation of an entire brand new album coming out for me personally and of course for the benefit of us here at the show. So, you know, I don't mind a mix of both. I don't mind that. Of course, I don't really I don't really kind of like when Machine Head puts out 4 singles, takes those 4 singles,
Small
adds
amount.
them adds them to 6 brand new songs. Like, hey, we got a brand new LP coming out. There's 10 tracks on it. I already know 4 of these.
Yeah, yeah. You ain't
So
release nothing else. Like we're gonna buy
yeah,
it
so
from the floor.
so
But anyway, to finish this up, Jericho added that he said, "I'm from the generation where you would go when the new Iron Maiden album came out. You'd go down and you'd take the bus every Saturday. Is it out yet?" They'd say no, and then finally you walk through and you hear the music and you see the wall of Maiden records. That was such a great moment in a kid's life. But things have changed. No kid knows what a record is now. Record store is now. You would just go on Spotify, listen to the songs you want to hear, so you've got to roll with the times. Obviously, putting out a new record is a piece of art, but I think song by song you can do the same. Plus, you get a different cover for every one, so that's pretty cool. Yeah. So I think it's just as to more of a marketing plan. I think it's just a better for the music itself as well. Fozzie's new single Spotlight was released earlier this week via Madison Records, The Orchard, and can be streamed on all streaming platforms. And company in video will arrive on October 26th. So
Nice.
So next week we'll have a video for that. So,
Yep.
but that's
I just want there to still be a mix. You know,
yeah,
I
and
don't
I've
want it. I don't want it to be. I'm okay with it not with a band not doing all LPs if they don't want to. I'm
yeah,
fine with that. But I still want there to be a mix. I still want an LP to come out. You know, every now and then. You want to release singles. I mean, that's cool too. I just want there to
oh,
be a
hell,
little.
we just bought a brand new car, and I'm pissed off because there wasn't a CD player option in there. Like I
Right.
want I want the option. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what pisses me off versus anything is you're forcing me to be digital, and I don't want to be forced to do anything. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that we've proven that with some other things that went on in the world. We won't get into that, but
Right.
but when you force people into doing things, it kind of deters them from wanting to do them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
to
It's
me
true.
anyway, I'm like that. I'm just like,
Yeah. No, I mean, I like having the choice too. I do. I like having the choice.
it's like, you want me to have that? That's fine. I'll Bluetooth or whatever sometimes, but I'd rather have a damn CD. Sometimes I just want to throw in fucking rebring up Machine Head. Just throw a damn Machine Head CD and let it play. I mean, fuck,
Yep.
sometimes I just want to do that instead of
Yeah.
well, you can do it on Spotify. Yeah, but then I lose fucking signal somewhere or some shit like that. I don't have to worry about that with a CD.
Right. There are pros and cons to everything, and we are from a different generation. We still like buying CDs, and hell, even the generation before us, they still like buying vinyl. There are
Yeah,
people who are our age that buy vinyl,
yeah. I
so
got vinyl too. So I mean,
yeah, so the physical media will never go away, and neither will the desire for it. It's kind of the
yeah,
same thing, and to get totally off track for a second with my brother's show because he does the car show,
mm,
even with all this push for the EVs,
mm,
gas vehicles are never going away because you're never getting rid of the classic cars.
no,
So EVs will come along. Gas powered vehicles will never go away because of classic cars. The same thing with physical media. It's never going away either. The appetite for that will still be there. I'm glad.
that's actually a good comparison because I think with what you're talking about with cars, I mean, to me you have to have. It's okay if you want to do EV, but you got to have options. You can't just
Hmm.
totally. I mean, we're seeing blackouts in California already. So I mean, what do you think is going to happen around the world if everybody goes EV? You know,
Hmm.
'cause, like you got to have options to keep things kind of balanced out.
Yeah.
And I get it. You're kind of to put it in a perspective. If you go a lot more people do EV, then you're looking at lower gas prices because there are going to be as many people driving with gas. So,
Hmm.
you know, Amazon's already started converting a lot of their Amazon Prime trucks into EV, which that's on them. But
Yeah.
I've also seen some on the road getting towed too. But
Well, there you go.
so,
There you
so
go. And
by,
and we've all seen clips on TikTok of EVs just on fire. So I mean,
so and I will say this: it was towed by a gasoline tow truck.
there you go. Yeah. And my aunt said she said she just bought a CD player because her new car doesn't have one. So
Yeah, yeah. So exactly. Like I don't know how I would do that, but you dude thought I was kidding when I was like, "Hey, man, it's like you put a CD player in there," and he just started laughing. I'm like, I'm serious, dude. Like, can you put a CD player in there?" He's like, "No, man, none of these new cars come with CD players." I'm like, "That's bullshit. Like, it needs to be an
yeah,
option."
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
My 2012 Equinox has a CD player. And of course, I mean that was just 10 years old, but still, I mean, you think
yeah.
10 years ago? I mean, I don't know. Spotify was out then, I think. So, I mean,
I don't remember when Spotify came out. It probably was, but
you think it's been out for 10 years, surely? So,
yeah, probably. I don't know. All right, my last story. If you frequent metalcore and hardcore circles on social media, you may have seen footage circulating of a concert goer wearing a large furry mask being punched in the face by a crowd killing member of the audience. That footage is said to stem from the Heavy Hitters 4 festival in Austin, Texas this past Saturday, October 14th, which was headlined by Death Before Dishonor. The footage went on to draw mixed reactions, with some laughing it off and others voicing concern for the victim. It would seem the individual wearing the mask did indeed suffer serious injury as a result of the punch. Speaking via this recently launched GoFundMe, hyperlink in story, Christopher Silva, who claims to have been the recipient of the punch, stated the following. Quote, "Hi everyone, my name is Chris, not me, but most of you know me online as Latte. See, not me. On Saturday, I was assaulted at a concert in Austin. I was punched from behind in the head while watching the show. The person who hit me fractured the lower part of my orbital socket, concussed me, and has jeopardized my job and vision. As many of you have seen, there is a video going around on Twitter of what happened. The person who hit me hasn't been identified, and after looking into the legal actions and repercussions, the chances of him owning up to his actions are slim. We are still trying to find him. My nights have been restless. I spent the first 3 days vomiting and sleeping for an hour at a time from the pain in my face. My face hurts all the time. I couldn't afford a trip to the ER, but as time between the event passed, it became clear this wasn't going to be something I could sleep off. You don't want to try to sleep off a concussion, dude. I
Yeah,
haven't
right.
been able, it'd be the last time you go to sleep. I haven't been able to work. My job pays hourly, and my day to day work is primarily driving the company van to make deliveries and operate machinery in a coffee lab. Without function in my eye, I can't return to work because I can't drive or operate machinery. I will be out of work for another 2 weeks, but that's only if my eye begins to recover in the best case scenario. So far, between clinic visits, a CT scan, and consultation with a neural eye surgeon, I've spent just over $900. That's actually not much considering you got a goddamn CT scan. The neurosurgeon wants to wait 1 week to allow my swelling to go down and see if steroids will help my eye start to recover on its own so we can avoid surgery. The estimated cost of the surgery is $2,200 and risk permanent alterations to my vision. I'm hoping more than anything to not need the surgery. I just want things to return to normal, and the cost of restoring the function of my eye is something I can't afford on my own. The amount of support from everybody has been overwhelming and incredibly appreciated. I'm so grateful for this community and the voices online speaking out against the hate and glorification of violence. Please help me cover the costs and return to my regular life. I'm trying to stay positive about the future, and with your help, I can do everything possible to save my eye. End quote. I still haven't watched the video, but and well, hell, and the GoFundMe is at $10,080 of a $9,500 goal. So he's already surpassed his goal, but I'm sure he's got more
Oh
expenses.
yeah.
I'm sure he's got more expenses he's going to incur. But I haven't watched the video yet. But I don't get why this would happen. Why someone would just like. I'm not doubting his story, and especially if there's video evidence to prove it. But I just don't get. I don't get why people have to be the way they are. I mean, this dude's wearing. He's wearing a mask. He's wearing like one of those furry helmets to a show or whatever. And unless dude was just being annoying, then I don't get why he would have just gotten blindsided like that. So I mean, it's without knowing 100% the whole story, especially the other side of the story from the dude who allegedly threw the punch. To me, it just sounds like a dick move. It
Yeah.
really does. So, you know, just knowing the one side of the story, I hope they find the guy so he can at least tell his side. So we know both sides of the story, and then we can kind of decide, who's telling the truth, because three sides to every story, his side, and the truth is in the middle. So,
I
but
mean, and he could have been mistaken for somebody else too. You know what I mean? That's
I
very
still
possible.
don't I still don't get why he would have just been cheap shotted from behind though still. But I mean, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if there's any more that
Like, hey,
comes out about this. But
Luca? That motherfucker owes me 10 grand.
yeah, so maybe. But that's all of the stories that I have for this week.
So I looked up Spotify began October 7th, 2008. So they had a
Oh
birthday.
shit, okay.
So yeah,
15 years.
so congratulations of 15 years of screwing artists.
Yeah, that's right. Well, at least they're consistent. So
Yeah, right. Uh,
yeah, you're right, Amy. You're right.
shit.
People suck and do shit like that for no reason. You are 100% correct.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. That's kind of what it sounds like without knowing the motivation behind the punch. So yeah, it just sounds like someone being an asshole. So
Before I get into there was
alcohol fueled, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's at a show. It's
you never know.
yeah. So I hope the guy is able to recover without needing the surgery, because obviously the more medical treatment he's got to go through, the more medical bills he's going to have. So good luck to him. I just hate that, man. I mean, people are just trying to have fun at shows, and I mean, he was out there just, wearing his mask, just trying to enjoy the show, just like everybody else, and then ends up with a ends up with a broken orbital bone and a concussion. I mean, I mean, it's one thing if like he was in the middle of a mosh pit and took an elbow, that's completely different. I mean, you gotta have to expect that when you get into a mosh pit. But when some dude just like fucking nails you in the face for no reason, no apparent reason, I'll say apparent.
Yeah, right.
So it's just people. We say all the time on the show, people gonna people, and just I
Mm.
don't know, man. It just stinks.
Before I get caught up in the rest of the headlines, I meant to do this at the top of the show, but I want to give a shout out to the band As the Structure Fails. Their song "Heartless" hit 1 million views on Spotify this week.
Oh,
Or
very
streams,
nice.
1 million streams.
Congratulations.
Always like
Very
to give
nice.
those shout outs when we can.
Hell yeah, man. Congratulations. 7 figures. Very nice.
Mhm. And, right. So other headlines I had was ACDC's rumored for next year's Rock in Rio festival. We had Nightwish's vocalist Floor Jansen and Sabaton drummer is it Hans Vendal?
Johannes Van Dam.
Johannes Vendal. Okay, there ain't no J in none of it, so I didn't know. Have welcomed their second child, a daughter named Lucy. So congrats to those to them. Dave Lombardo's. This is going to give us a little bit to talk about here in just a second. Dave Lombardo says Slayer was the best Big Four band. We really showed everyone else how it should be done. So
It all depends on what it is.
I mean,
We
who you
showed
at?
everybody we showed everybody how it should be done. It all depends on what it is. I mean, it
So
I
I've always said this: if you have an opinion about, even if it's your band, if you have an opinion about it, it's just that it's an opinion because
yeah,
you may have 10 million people share your opinion, but you may have another 15 that don't. So I mean,
yeah.
it doesn't make it a popular opinion, but
And it doesn't even make it a bad opinion because I mean I
it
love
does.
Slayer. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of people would agree with that, but what are you talking about though? I mean,
Exactly. That's what I'm
it's
saying.
being
What is it?
I'm,
What's
I'm
it?
we're the best Big Four band, but are you? I mean, best at what? I mean,
Right.
you
How do you
know,
quantify that? Yeah.
yeah, because if you look at album sales, well, obviously Metallica would have to be at the top of that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's
If you're looking at if you're talking about ticket sales, Metallica blew Slayer out of the water.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know what
Like
I
it
mean?
depends on what you're looking at. I mean,
Right.
as far as and then you got to look at far as quantity of albums over the years. Then Megadeth would definitely be at the top because I mean
Hmm.
they've had more albums than any of those bands in the Big Four. So I mean, I just have a problem when people kind of like want to compare and say best. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, in your opinion, not saying that it's not true. I mean, because you believe it. So I mean, whatever
It's
you
better
believe,
to
whatever
it
you believe is true. So I mean,
yeah, it's better when people say like when you talk about when we're talking about just the big four, since that's what Dave Lombardo was talking about. It's I think it makes more sense to say Slayer is my favorite big four band. Anthrax is my
yeah, yeah,
favorite
yeah.
big four. I mean,
It was
because
funny because I was looking at this on the socials earlier too before I actually read the story. And there was people commenting on there, and it was like, "Yeah, you can say what you want, but the Testament kicked all y'all asses." Or something. I was just like, okay, well, there's another opinion. That's what I'm saying.
hmm
Like, you know, it is, like I say, it's going to depend on who you ask.
hmm yeah, and that's the thing is, I mean,
I think it should have been worded better. I think it says, I think it should have said Dave Lombardo says that he thinks Slayer is the best. Then I could be like, oh, okay.
well, that's fine. That's
Yes,
fine.
right. That. But the way they say it is like he just comes out and says we're the best Big Four band. Fuck the rest. Fuck the other three. So and I don't like that headline because I don't think that it was I don't think it was meant as that intent.
No, Dave. No, I don't think Dave meant it that way
No,
either.
he did. Like I read the story and I'm just like, yeah, that's one of the reasons I brought that up too is because another headline that doesn't uh, tell the whole story. So
Right.
this one's kind of interesting too. Skid Row's Rachel Bolan said, "I thought I was going to retire at 40," which you know, who's to say if Sebastian Bach didn't go fucking nuts so that probably couldn't have happened. I mean, I think that Sebastian stays in the band. you guys put out, 10 records, you probably are retired right now. So I mean,
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just
And on the other hand, you probably got some people who are surprised that he actually got to play music past 40. I'm sure.
well,
I'm
that's
sure
true.
there's. I'm sure there's some people out there going, "He's still playing music,"
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Uh,
So which isn't really fair. But I mean,
no, Adrian Vandenberg said he would absolutely play with Whitesnake again, which that's coming. That's actually a pretty bold statement, seeing as he's pretty successful with his own band with Vandenberg.
he is
So to say that he would absolutely play with them again is pretty shows how much respect he had for that band, I guess. So.
right.
Dark Tranquility begins recording their new album, so that's
Nice.
going to be another 2024.
2024. Yeah.
So, Marco Hatala doesn't think he will ever rejoin Nightwish. Not sure, like more more about that band than I do. So, was he guitar player or something? I can't remember.
Yes.
He was okay.
Guitar player, and he provided the male vocals.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He was kind of like the he was kind of like the Andrea Farrow of Nightwish.
Gotcha. So that's probably why he would never be back in this, because they don't do much male vocals anymore, do they?
Well, they hadn't been,
Yeah.
especially since he left. So I don't know if I don't, and I'd have to go back and listen. I don't know if Thomas Holopainen kind of filled in for Marco after he left on vocals. He may have, because of course, obviously the female vocalist, whoever it is at the time, Floor Jansen's the singer now. It was Annette Olson before her, and Tarja Turin in before her. So
Target
the
the one I remember. So
yeah, so they've always been a female fronted band, and then
right.
like Marco's kind of been like a complimentary vocalist. And like I say, I'd have to go back and listen. I'm sure Thomas has probably filled in now that Marco has left. That might be the formula going forward.
Here's what we talked about this earlier. D. Snyder said he's done making solo albums. He's just not feeling the urge.
Yep.
Which is kind of sad, because I think he did his best work on those albums than he did Twisted Sisters.
The solo albums were great, I thought.
Yeah, they were, yeah. Motley Crue's guitarist Mick Mars is going to have his first ever solo single arriving on Halloween. So
Fitting.
Good for him. So, Lizzie Hale says Hailstorm has started to buckle down and write with a purpose on their next album. So hopefully,
Probably be a 24 release.
I mean, probably.
I would think.
Tobias Forge was furious over venue banning face paint at a Ghost show, which, this is another thing that we're not Ghost fans, but I don't agree with that. Like, if
Nope.
you got fans that are going to go to this show, they're going to paint their fucking face. Like, why are you giving them shit, man?
Yeah.
Let them win. Let them enjoy the fucking show. Like I said, we know we're not fans, but that's beside the point. They are. They should be able to enjoy their show that they pay their fucking hard earned money for. And if they want to goddamn paint their asshole, who gives a shit? Like,
yeah. That's like when you and I dressed up when we went to the Steel Panther concert. Yeah. Same thing. It was the same thing.
Everybody did, though. Everybody there was dressed in 80s clothing. I mean, most everybody.
Yeah, a lot of people were. We did. We dressed up because it was fun. So
something to do, something different. Peter Baltes on Leaving Accept. Once you're not involved anymore in the decision making, what's the point? So
throwing a little bit of shade there.
Yeah, I don't remember which was he was. I don't remember. They've had a couple singers in between Mark and Udo, I'm sure. So, and I don't remember where he kind of fell, but I want to say, if to me, when we talked to Martin Motnick on this show, it's kind of hard for me to buy into this right here, mainly because Martin's only been on the one album, and they were
he's only been in the band since 2017. So
and they were asking him for his input on songs. It's like, okay, this is a new guy, and you're asking him for input. This right here doesn't make sense to me, because you're saying you're not involved in the decision making. What decision making are we talking about here? It's like, I mean, obviously it isn't songwriting, because we know that they take their, whether they took anything from Martin, like he said, they didn't really take a lot from it, but they did include me.
Yeah, they did include him.
So,
yeah, because we even asked Martin what it was like to work with Wolf Hoffman.
Right.
So
yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's just a little somebody
Sour
might
grapes.
a little bitter. Somebody might be a little bitter from
Yeah.
not being in demand anymore. So and we talked about this earlier. Exodus is entering the studio in March. New album to arrive by September of next year. So a year out release from that, but that's all right. We'll take it.
Yep.
Dave Ellison says, I'm not in Megadeth anymore, so I can finally wear my Metallica shirts again.
Good for him.
Man, are we seriously going to believe that Dave Mustaine won't let them wear Metallica shirts? Like,
Yeah.
oh, man, I don't know about that, dude.
I love Megadeth, and I'm a huge fan of Dave Mustaine, but that is something I could absolutely seeing him fucking do.
Serious? I don't know.
I absolutely could see it.
I mean, he has been shown to do some shit like that, but I'm just like, yeah, man, like, motherfucker, what the hell does it matter what shirt I'm fucking wearing? Like,
Well, because that's the funny thing is I actually saw a picture not too long ago of Jason Newsted and James Hetfield, and they were just kind of like sitting in a dressing room or something. And this was back in the '80s, you know, and Jason was wearing a "Killing Is My Business" T-shirt. So there you go. You know, I mean, I don't see any harm in it.
well, no, I mean,
I don't see any harm in it. You know.
you're paying homage to a band you like. I mean,
Yeah.
even as an artist, you still have bands you're fans of. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's like,
Yeah.
you know, we've seen, hell, let's look at a couple weeks ago where Priest was playing and Metallica was in the front row. They was
Yep.
jamming with them. You know, it's like, they didn't stand in the back. They went out front with the damn people was in the crowd watching.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's and that means a lot to those guys because and we'll talk about that in a minute. That's going to be another argument probably we'll be talking about. But Priest is one of the old school metal bands that a lot of those guys probably based influences off of. So
And I think I know where you're going with that reference.
yeah. So anyway. Within Temptations, Sharon Denadale defends her right to express her political views through bands and songs.
You do.
So I'm confused why you have to defend your right for that. I mean,
You don't.
you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, we don't agree with a lot of things that people say politically and stuff. That don't mean I have to not like the fucking song. It's like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, hell, we know Rob Flynn puts shit in this, so we talk about this all the time. Rob Flynn puts shit in their Machine Head shit all the time, and we're still like, fuck it. It's like
Yeah.
it's a fucking good tune. Who gives a shit?
Mm-hmm.
That's your belief. I don't believe in what you're saying, but I like the fucking song.
Sure.
I don't understand why people can't do that. Like you
They
don't.
can't. Yeah, man.
Oh wow, fuck that. I don't like what he's saying. I'm not. Well, motherfucker, who cares? Like it's.
Yeah, and I mean, you can always not listen to that particular song and still enjoy an album. You still can. I mean, you can.
Well, that's the thing too. Is why she shouldn't have to defend herself. If you don't
No,
like
she
it,
shouldn't.
don't fucking listen to it. I mean,
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty fucking simple.
Yeah. It is.
It's like we talk about this shit all the time. You don't like something on TV. What do?
Change the channel.
You got the remote in your fucking hand. You change the channel.
That's exactly what you do.
You over here watching your damn sports team getting the shit beat out of them. You don't sit there and watch it till the end. You're like, fuck this. I'm just done. It's like I'm not watching this beating anymore. So,
Yeah.
I was like, but it's kind of like everything else in this world. People just want to have something to bitch about. So
That's true.
like they got. I tell you what, if there was a job for you bitching all the time, you'd be a millionaire. So. Ozzy Osbourne says his next album won't feature multiple guests. He said there may be one on there. And you know what? I'm good with this because I think if this is Ozzy's last record, I want it to be Ozzy. You know what I mean? I don't want
wholeheartedly agree with that.
I don't want it to be 5 fucking people guesting on there. I want it to be an Ozzy record.
Yep.
And I really hope Zach's on it as well. So
yep.
It would only be appropriate.
It would. It would.
So the next Wednesday 13 album will include songs inspired by the late Slipknot drummer Joy Jordison, which is pretty cool. So give him some homage there.
Yep.
Another milestone here. Papa Roach's Last Resort surpasses 1 billion streams on Spotify.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so that's where all the money went.
Right.
Oh, man. Sharon Osbourne calls Nikki Sixx an asshole, says that she don't believe the story about Ozzy snorting ants, which, who knows what the fuck happened with that, because they were all fucked up at the time. They don't,
Yeah.
They're probably hallucinating that whole fucking scenario.
Probably.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, somebody commented on it, and I started laughing because I was thinking it. But when I was reading the comment, I said, "Oh, that's actually what I was thinking." He said, "How the fuck does damn Nikki Six remember what happened?" So,
Hmm.
yes.
I will say this. I want to believe that it happened.
Well, yeah, because it's
I
such a
do.
fucking
I
crazy
do.
story.
I want to believe that it happened, and considering that no one knows if it did, and the story is still floating around out there, I am leaning more towards that it did. So I'm just gonna go with that. I'm
But
gonna.
you gotta look at the pissing on the Alamo story though too. So I mean, that wasn't totally true. So
Yeah, yeah. It did happen, just not to the building that everybody said it did. So
exactly. This here's a more Exodus news I was talking about. Exodus vows to perform a couple of rarities on the fall 2023 tour, including one they've never played live ever,
see, I like
and,
that.
and then one they've never played in what do you say 16 years
Nice.
or 32 years? I think he said 32 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, Chris Jericho. That's how you do it. You just change up the set list every now and
Yeah.
then.
When Steve Souza's like, when you get as many hits as I do, boy, come talk to me. I'll show you.
There you go.
Michael Polson's says Possessed planted the seed of death metal, but Chuck Schuldiner became the tree. And I think that's the best thing that I've heard as a scenario for that, because a couple weeks ago we talked about how one of the Possessed guys was like, "Oh yeah, Possessed was death metal, not death." So, uh,
And Amy, to answer your question, that is true.
it did happen.
It,
It
ha-
was an accident, but it did
It
happen.
was an accident, yeah, because it happened in 1982,
Mm-hmm.
and he was on tour. And at the time, part of his act was biting the head off of prop bats.
Yeah.
So he did bite the head off bats as a prop. But somebody threw a live one up on stage,
Mm-hmm.
and it just so happened that's the one he picked up and bit the head off of it, and had to
Yeah.
go off tour for a little while and get rabies shots. So he did bite the head off of an actual bat on accident. Now, the him biting the head off of a dove, he did on purpose, but that's
Right.
because he was wired out of his skull. So
Yeah. Yeah, he was. So. But I think that thing with Possessed was probably a pretty good analogy. I think Possessed planted the seed, and Chuck Schuldiner became the tree. So uh,
I think that actually is a
because
pretty good
without
way to describe it.
I think without Death being as big as they were, because they became a bigger band than Possessed. So I think that was kind of maybe what he was saying.
Yeah.
That's the way I took it.
Because see, that's the thing is, I mean, that just being first doesn't always mean
You're the best.
you're the best. Because being first is great. I mean,
Not
being
first, your last, man.
well, yeah, that's true. Well, hell, Ricky, I was high when I said that. But yeah, so being then I would believe it. Yeah, see, that's another. Yeah, I want to believe it too. Um, but yeah, being first doesn't mean you were the best. Somebody took your foundation and built upon it. That's why I think that's a pretty apt analogy.
And then Rob Halford says Judas Priest is the first true heavy metal band, which I think there will be arguments made for that.
Mm, I still think Black Sabbath is the first
I
heavy
mean,
metal band.
the thing is like you're talking about, the Priest around what 68, I think is kind of when they started. But you also had the Scorpions around that time. You also had Accept around at that time. So I mean, you had some bands already in the metal scene at that time at the same time. So to say you're the first true heavy metal band is probably not so accurate. But
Mm,
you may have been the first. You may have been the first more popular metal band. I can probably go with that maybe. Uh,
you could probably make that argument.
but
But
yeah,
I still think Black Sabbath is is
yeah,
the is the first heavy metal band.
oh, for sure. So, anyway, that is the headlines.
Very nice.
I got a couple. Let me pop this in here real quick. don't remember if I did this. Did I post a Spotify playlist last week? Can't remember.
The one you put together with the new releases?
Yeah.
I don't recall.
Okay. I'll
I
uh,
don't recall.
I'll pop that one in here that way because I don't want to get too far ahead and then have to do all three at once. So
Okay.
that way I'll stay there for a minute. So let me paste this one real quick. So this this one will be from last week's new releases, which had the red flag on it.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to check out that new, one of the last single, uh, single on that playlist there. So uh, yeah. Then we'll do some hitting the road, and then I'll post the playlist. Playlist. Man, I'm done. I'm out. See you.
And Amy Judas Priest has been around since 1970, so Black Sabbath actually predates them by about 2 years. But Judas Priest's debut album didn't come out until 1974, where Black Sabbath's debut album came out in 1970. So
but they were a band in '68. They just didn't have an album.
right, yeah,
All right. So hitting the road. I have about three here. I don't. And
cool, that's
they
fine.
I did them because I thought you were going to have 2 weeks worth, or I would have just let you roll with the flow.
That's
The reason
fine.
I asked you, I'd already wrote them down. I was like, shit, I probably should have asked him to make sure he had 2 weeks worth because I was going to do more, and I said, well, let me see if he's got 2 weeks worth because I don't want to do more than.
No,
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where if we know that we're going to have a guest, I basically just more or less take the week off and I just prepare for the interview. So I mean, it's just unless something just like mind blowing gets announced or some major news event, then I'll post that in the on the Facebook group. But other than that, if we've got an interview coming up, I just focus on the interview.
I got three here, and they're like big tours too. So
Okay, that's fine.
there's only like three tours that I knew about, honestly.
All right.
Machine Head, of course, announced their North American tour with Fear Factory, Orbit Culture, and Gates to Hell, which surprised me that they came with three other bands. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh. But that kicks off January 19th in San Francisco, California at the Warfield and ends on February 24th in Los Angeles, California at the Bellwether. And unfortunately, the closest that's coming here is Atlanta. So
Yeah. I probably just obviously this probably be one that I skip, and
yeah,
hopefully after this one, they kind of get back to their an evening with format because I would still rather just watch them play for 2.5 3 hours. So
yeah, no doubt.
not that I wouldn't mind seeing Fear Factory, but
It is, yeah, that is true too. All right, Disturbed announced a winter 2024 tour with Fallen in Reverse and Plush. I don't know if you remember, posted a thing a while back where David Draymond was looking for somebody to sing that Ann Wilson song with him.
mm-hmm.
So he was trying to find a female fronted band to tour with him. Well, I think he found a pretty good person to do
I,
that because
I think she could.
Plush has definitely done some pretty good versions of Barracuda and other Heart songs in the past, and that's probably a pretty good pick. So, but that tour kicks off 119 in Peoria, Illinois, at the Peoria Civic Center, and then ends on March 3rd in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Back Theater at Planet Hollywood, and they will be through Nashville at Bridgestone Arena on February 17th.
Mm-hmm. And all of the dates on that tour are subject to whether or not Ronnie Radke decides he wants to perform on any given night.
That's true. Yeah. Which surprised the hell out of me that David Draymond went on picked him for a tour. I'm like, what?
Yeah, with all the drama he brings along with it. So
Because I don't think David's too much drama.
he's not really. So that is kind of surprising. But
Maybe.
good for Plush though. Happy for them.
Oh yeah, man, this is going to be a big good tour for them to get noticed too.
Mm-hmm.
So with only one album under their belt, I think
Yeah.
they're not and like I said, they're not a metal band, but they are a hard rock band.
Yeah,
So
and that's fine.
definitely in the realm of Hailstorm and New Year's Day type thing. So and like I said, very talented too, man.
They are.
They're all women. So
Yep. Congratulations. I'm happy for them.
yeah, I am too, man. Like I hopefully this opens up big doors for them. So. And then last but not least, the tour that pissed me off, Iron Maiden and Killswitch Engage announced a 2024 Australian tour.
I know it.
But it's only like a few days, but still. that kicks off September 1st at the RAC Arena in Perth. Uh, hey, that's over in our buddies next to the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Hidden Intent. So,
Yep.
and I'll just go through the list here. 9-4 is at the Adelaide Entertainment Center in Adelaide. 9-6 at the Rod Laver Arena in Melbourne. September 10th, Brisbane Entertainment Center in Brisbane. September 12th, Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney, and September 16th, Spark Arena in Auckland. So,
Yep.
New Zealand.
Auckland, New Zealand. That's right.
But it's crazy that they put this out so far in advance. I thought that was kind of wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yep. All right. Well, my contribution to hitting the road for the 13th through the 20th. I did include last Friday, considering that we had the show. We just had John come on, so I did add an extra day. Leading off at the PRP.com, as always, we have Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. They're going to be going on like a couple legs. They're going to be going to Mexico, South America, and Japan. That tour will start January 23rd, 2024 in Mexico City at the Pepsi Center, which I still think is a weird name for a arena in Mexico. I don't know, it's just weird. But that's neither here nor there. And then
Valseki's fitness.
the Tecate Center or something, the Modelo Dome, something like that. Finishing March 5th in Tokyo, Japan at the ZEP Diversity. Then they will be going on a European leg with Mammoth WVH starting March 28th in Dublin, Ireland at the 3 Arena, finishing April 29th in Paris, France at Zenith. Then we have Alkaline Trio and Drug Church going on a North American tour. Starting February 22nd, 2024 in Anaheim, California at the House of Blues, finishing March 30th, 24 in Las Vegas at the Brooklyn Bowl. Flagman, Sump, and Melted Bodies are going on a very brief Midwest tour starting November 9th in Columbus, Ohio at the Half Baked Brew, finishing November 18th in New Haven, Indiana at Carl's Tavern. Bad Wolves and Eva Under Fire have announced some fall shows. November 9th in Knoxville at the Concourse. November 10th in Greensboro, North Carolina at Hangar 1819. November 11th in Spartanburg, South Carolina at Ground Zero. And November 12th in Destin, Florida at Club LA. Then Bad Wolves and Eva Under Fire will be going on tour with Bush, who isn't, they're not even close to heavy metal as far as I'm concerned. But starting November 14th in Orlando, Florida at the Hard Rock Live, finishing December 6th in Spokane, Washington at the Fox Theater. Code Orange, Teenage Wrist, and Soul Blind are going out with an additional support act to be announced. Spy and Gridiron will be appearing at select dates starting February 13th, 24 in Austin, Texas at Emos. Finishing March 17th in LA at the Belasco Theater featuring Spy. They will be in Nashville on February 17th at the Basement East. Bring Me the Horizon, Sleep Token, Make Them Suffer, and Dane are going on an Australian tour of their own, starting April 14th in Sydney, Australia at the Kudos Bank Arena, finishing April 20th in Brisbane, Australia at the River Stage. I wasn't gonna put this on the list, then I was, then I wasn't, then I was. I said, fuck it, I'll just put it on here. The Smashing Pumpkins and Weezer are going to the UK and Ireland starting June 7th in Birmingham, England at the Utilita Arena, finishing June 14th in Cardiff, Wales at the Cardiff Castle. I don't consider either one of them even remotely close. Weezer especially, but I was like, somebody might want to know. So Beartooth, The Plot and You, Invent, Animate, and Sleep Theory are going on a North American tour next year, starting January 12th in Cincinnati, Ohio at the Andrew J. Brady Center, finishing March 14th in Fort Wayne, Indiana at the Clyde Theater. They will be at Marathon Music Works in Nashville on March 13th. Polaris is going to Europe and the UK. Support acts will be announced later, starting March 1st in Wiesbaden, Germany at Schlachthof, finishing March 31st in Oberhausen, Germany at the Impericon Festival. Sanguisugabog, Disentomb, and Algor Mortis are going down to Australia, starting March 6th in Brisbane at the Brightside, finishing March 10th in Adelaide at a venue that our friends in Hidden Intent know very well, at the Enigma Bar. Machine Head and Fear Factory are going to Australia and New Zealand, starting March 9th in Perth at the Astor Theatre, finishing March 21st in Auckland, New Zealand at the Power Station. So Australia, you guys got some shows coming your way. Make sure you don't miss them. August Burns Red and Dying Wish are going to Europe and to the UK starting March 31st in Manchester, England at the O2 Ritz, finishing April 6th in Munich, Germany at the Impericon Festival. Whitechapel has announced a couple of off-date headlining shows, December 7th in Buffalo, New York at the Buffalo Ironworks and December 13th in Syracuse, New York at the Song and Dance. And they will also be playing their annual hometown benefit show at the Mill and Mine in Knoxville on December 22nd with Signs of the Swarm, The Guild, and Sidious. So that's all I have for this week for Hitting the Road.
Good stuff. So the playlist up there now is the one from this week.
Nice.
So that's all of our well, all of our new releases that we thought needed to be heard. So.
Right. Plenty of stuff was released this week. So that's just going to be a taste.
There was a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. We will get into our very lengthy theme of the week, I think, this week.
So, this one got beefy for sure.
So I think that when we do these from now on, I think I got an idea about this. So, but we'll talk about it after we do the list here. But just to let you know, like I was like working, and like once you said yeah, I started writing them.
Mm-hmm.
So
oh my god!
So, nothing was done through anything else. I got to that and I said, "Fuck it, I don't care. That's it. I'm not doing it anymore." So, so everything was from the top of my head, but it was from like I said, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So
there you go.
It was just like soon as I was working, I was like, oh yeah, it just kept coming up. Mm-hmm. So my headphones went out. There it goes. Okay. My headphones went out for a minute.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was like, am I talking?
Yes, you are.
So, all right. So we would kick into this thing. And like I said, as you've seen, I got about 25 to 30 on here. So
I have 25.
Yeah. So this could get beefy.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
I want to kick mine off with Five Finger Death Punch, Lift Me Up, with From the Wrong Side of Heaven, Righteous Side of Hell, Volume 1 in 2013. And then I went with Disturbed, Down with the Sickness, from The Sickness in 2000. Then I went back a little ways. This one kind of one of the first ones that popped up in my head when I was doing this. But Bullet Boys, Smooth Up in Ya.
Oh, nice.
Bullet Boys, 1988. Then I went with In This Moment, As Above, So Below, because as you go down if you want to.
Yeah. Synonyms, yes.
There you go.
In case you guys don't know, I don't know if Jason said it, but the theme this week is ups and downs. So
yeah, did I not say it?
I can't remember if you did or not, but it just in case.
Okay, sorry. If I didn't, I apologize.
Yeah.
So then I went with Sick Puppies, You're Going Down, from Tripolar, 2010. Then I went with Armored Saint, Wind Hands Down, from Wind Hands Down, 2015. Then I went with Megadeth, Wake Up Dead, from Peace Sells But Who's Buying, 1986. Then I went with Bleed From Within, Stand Down, from Shrine, 2022. Then I went with Wasp, On Your Knees, because you got to go down to do that. So,
yep.
Wasp, 1984. Then I went with Extinction AD, In the Wake of Uprising, from Decimation Treaty, 2018. Then I went with Motor Grader Down, from Motor Grader, 2003. Then I went with Savage Messiah, Down and Out, from Demons, 2019. Then I went with A Perfect Murder, Wake Up and Die, from Strength 3 Vengeance, 2005. Then I went with Nonpoint, Everybody Down, from Vengeance, 2007. Then I went with 10 Years, Waking Up the Ghost, from Feeding the Wolves, 2010. Then I went with Annihilator, Downright Dominant, from Metal, 2007. Spirit Adrift, Wake Up, from Forge Your Future EP in 2021. Then I went with D. Snyder, Down But Never Out, from Leave a Scar, 2021. Then I went with Machine Head, Now I Lay Thee Down, from The Blackening, 2007. Then I went with Drowning Pool, Step Up, from Desensitized, 2004. Then with I Prevail, Bow Down, from Trauma, 2018. And then with Onslaught, Bound Down to the Clowns from Generation Antichrist 2020. Then with Testament, Down for Life, The Gathering 1999. Then with Trivium, Down from the Sky from Shogun 2008. Then with Ice Nine Kills, The Jig is Up from the Silver Screen 2018. Then with Hatebreed, Looking Down the Barrel of the Day from the Concrete Confessional 2016. And then last but not least, I went with Havoc, Time is Up from the same title album, Time is Up 2011.
Nice. All right. Did you say you had Down for Life?
For Testament, yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, seven,
Wow.
seven duplicates. I think that's the most duplicates we've ever had. But I mean, with
I'm
this,
still not
with this,
mad with that
with
many.
with this, yeah, with this many songs, that doesn't surprise me. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna start with the ones that we did have duplicates of. I'm just gonna knock those out first. I had Down with the Sickness, Win Hands Down, Now I Lay Thee Down, Wake Up and Die. That one surprised me that we both had that one. Bow Down to the Clowns and Wake Up Dead and Down for Life. Those were the seven that I also had. So the list that is going to be in addition to yours, I went with Uprising by Sabaton off of Coat of Arms from 2021. That's not right. That's not right. That's not the right year. From 2010. Then I had Countdown to Extinction by Megadeth off the album of the same name from 1992. Then I had Low by Testament off of the album of the same name from 1994. Then I had Downfall by Exodus off of Exhibit B, The Human Condition from 2010. Then I had Light a City Up in Smoke, Lazarus AD, Black River's Flow from 2011. Then I had Deeper Down by Avatar off their self-titled album from 2009. Then I had Falling Spiral Down by Brainstorm off of Downburst from 2008. I'm glad you went with Time Is Up by Havoc because I went with Wake Up by Havoc off of Conform Side from 2017.
And honestly, that's one of the reasons I did. I kind of because I was doing. I was like, man, I bet he'll have that one.
Yeah.
And then I did have another. I did have a Wake Up from Spirit of Drift too. So I was like, yeah.
Screw it. We'll add it on there. Then I had Stand Up and Fight by Iron Savior off of Kill or Get Killed from 2019. Then I had Fire It Up by Black Label Society off Mafia from 2005. Then I had Put Down That Weapon from our friends at Demos' Dawn off of Anthem of the Lost from this year. Then I had Never Give Up by Rage off of Gib dich nie auf, their EP from 2009. That was my best German attempt there. I hope I didn't do too bad. Then I had Down in the Gutter by our friends at Methane off of Kill It With Fire from this year. Then I had Wake Up, Destroy by Warbringer off of Worlds Torn Asunder from 2011. Then I had Stand Up to Go Down by Amon Amarth off of their Under the Influence EP from 2013. Then I had Down to the Bone by Overkill off White Devil Armory from 2014. Then I had We Go Down by Primal Fear off of Black Sun from 2002. Then I had Down in the Water by Repentance off of The Process of Human Demise from this year. And last but not least, well, actually, technically not last but not least, I have three other ones that I had on the list in case of doubles. Then I went my 25th one. I went with Rise or Fall by Angela Sapitrita off their self-titled album from 2021. Then I also had Over the Wall by Testament from The Legacy. I had Throwing Down by Exodus off of Tempo of the Damned. And then a slower song from a band that I like. I went with The Rain Comes Falling Down by Sentenced off of their Frozen album from 1998. So this is probably going to be I think it's pretty safe to say this is going to be the longest Theme of the Week playlist that we've ever had. So
It's gonna be a damn good one too. So
yes.
Hey,
Hey, Rosemary.
Rosemary, how you doing?
Hello there. Good evening.
That's what I call her out too because I seen where she had hearted the show. So I'm glad she
Yeah.
commented there. So.
Welcome in.
I seen Victor's back in action too on the
Yes, he is.
on the group there. So I was like, oh yeah,
Yes, he is. So I'm glad to see he's doing well.
yeah, me too. So.
And Rosemary, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. But yeah, we will get this very long playlist collaborated and compiled, and we will get it posted for you guys as soon as possible. So.
And also from now on, if we're going to do, and I do have some ideas for some stuff like this going forward. So I think what I'm going to do is like say we did this one again, and like going forward, I would say, okay, we're going to do ups and downs. I'll do ups, you do downs. That way, we know we're not going to have duplicates.
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah, and so
Yeah, I like that idea.
yeah, so
I do. I like that idea. That's a cool idea.
yeah, so I mean, I thought about that when I was doing this, and I said, man, there's so many songs. I said we could have split this and probably did this a lot more cleaner and not have to, because I was really worried about having a lot more duplicates than that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, 7 is quite a few, but considering we had 50 songs between the
That's
two of
true.
us,
Yeah, it's not too bad.
that's not bad actually.
See and hear you. Yeah, you as well, Ross. So
Absolutely.
definitely appreciate it. But yeah,
Ross Mary is holding it down for us in South America. So
yeah, so well, rocking heavies.
yes.
All right, I guess we would go into our album reviews this week. Actually, I have one from this week and one from last week because I didn't post anything from last week, but I did do album reviews. So I actually got one from last week and one from this week. So that way I don't have to go back and do it later.
Makes sense.
There is a couple of other ones I really I still need to like put out there. I think they need to be known about. Anyway. My album review this week was from War Curse, Confession. War Curse is a heavy metal thrash band out of Cincinnati or Dayton, Ohio area. They have been around since 2013. This is their hold on. Yeah, this is their third full length album. Current members are James Goetz on drums, Joshua Murphy on guitars, Justin Roth on guitars, Blaine Gordon on vocals, and Johnny Wallace on bass. It looks like the only original members are Joshua Murphy and James Goetz. The other ones are, I don't know, Justin Roth. So just the vocals and the bassist are kind of came in around the 2017, 2018. So still been with the band for a little while. So,
yeah,
so it's pretty good. Like I said, this is the band's third full-length album, 10 songs, 43 minutes, 1 second. And I would 100% agree with Old School Thrashers.
nice.
uh, great vocals, reminded me a lot of Chuck Billy of Testament. The way this album started was excellent because it had a few like softer chords from a guitar, and it's like, and then
it was a slow burn.
Because I kind of was getting worried when I first started. I was like, oh, what have I gotten into here? And then it's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, you're like, never mind, all good.
That's split for you. Here you go. So drumming was great. It's one of those albums where everything can be heard all the time. Does that make sense? It's
yes,
like nothing stuck out. Like just not just one thing stuck out at you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like everything
balance,
crisp, and you could pick the guitar, you could pick the drums, you could pick pretty much whatever you wanted to out of every song. It was really really cool that you could do that because a lot of songs usually have something distinctive about it that it catches your ear. But I think this whole album was like that as far as I'm concerned. There wasn't nothing in the whole album where I was just like, oh yeah, that's guitar or that's drums. Like, no, I heard everything
nice
that was going on at the same time, which was awesome. By the way, it wasn't super fast. Don't get me wrong, but the pace was steady. You know what I mean? I tell you what, this album reminded me of it, and the whole time I was listening to it, I said, "Man, this sounds so much like the Ritual by Testament." And and to me, that's like one of the most underrated Testament albums that they made.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that has great songs on it, but I think the tempo, I think, is what got me as far as like the tempo reminded me a lot of the Ritual.
Yeah, because that's the funny thing is the Ritual it isn't one of Testament's most up tempo albums either.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
like I haven't heard their back catalog yet, which I do want to go back and listen to the other albums at this point because I really did like this one. This is an easy 4 horns for me. So.
4 horns. Nice.
All right. And then last week's album that I didn't get to do online, but I will do here was Persecutor Vendetta. Persecutor is a metalcore thrash metal band out of Horsens, Mint, Jutland, Denmark. And I know I probably fucked that up, but that's They have been around since 2000. Actually, they've been around as they've been under three different names according to this. 2011 to 2013, they were known as 13 Bloodlines, and then 2013 to 2016 as Desecrator, and then 2016 to present as Persecutor. So,
Okay.
so, the albums as Persecutor, I think, is the only things listed on Encyclopedia Metallica. So their current lineup is Christian Andreas Almanza, bass and vocals, Benjamin Stage, guitars. That don't sound like a Denmark name, or Danish name. Christopher Hedgard, drums, and then Stefan Sorensen on guitars. Yeah, the Benjamin kind of, where did that American name come from? Anyway, this is the band's second full length album, 9 songs, 35 minutes, 50 seconds. Instrumentally was thrashy, but I think vocally was definitely kind of between thrash and metalcore. I think he kind of jumped back and forth a little with the vocals between the two genres. The guitars on this album was so freaking good, dude. Like it was almost like one of those I was talking about a couple weeks back, where it sounded like they were dueling the whole time. The two
Hmm.
guitarists, man, it was like they were just eating strings up on that one.
Yeah.
Um, and then the drumming kept the fast pace of the guitars shredding. So I think I wrote a description down here, but I said my ears felt like they were getting beat up in a back alley for their lunch money. So, uh,
In
so
a good way. Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So it's almost like the old cartoon where you see like something go in there and it's like using your uvula or something as a punching bag.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely kind of in that realm. So, but everything about it was magnifico. But
Magnifico.
the track right in the middle was called Veil of Despair, and it was like a bit darker and crunchier. Kind of it wasn't ballady. I wouldn't say ballady, just more dark and
Yeah.
and not shreddy. It was more crunchy than it was shreddy
Yeah.
with the guitar. So definitely had pace change right in there, and it was right in the middle too, which was great.
Nice.
Um, the only thing that was really weird is that this was the only album that not the only album, but one of the few albums I ever remember having an outro as
Oh,
going.
it was that album? Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Okay.
And it was cool because it worked because it had that tone like kind of you could like when I was listening to it, you could like if they don't end their shows like this, I would probably be disappointed, honestly. I think this is it's a good way to end your show the way that they did this because it had a tone of kind of like I will see you later.
Yeah.
I will see you again.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of acoustic. It was like on an acoustic guitar. So
Mm-hmm.
I could see them like just lights go down, one light comes back up, the damn guitar sitting there with an acoustic. Just, that's your good night, man. Bam, see you. I'm gonna give this one 4 horns as well. So
Nice.
definitely some good albums, man. I'm gonna tell you what. Before you get into yours, I want to say something. This week's albums may be the most diverse releases that I've ever listened to because I have to listen to everything to put together the playlist. And
Yeah.
I think we had death metal, we had stoner metal, we had of course thrash metal was
Yeah.
represented big time this week because eventually that Trita, but among other bands like I just talked about there too, so Workers and there was other bands too that were thrashy, and then there was some 80s 90s type hair metal sounds in there. It was just like it was such an array of different music. I was like, man, I don't think I've ever like went down and listened to every one of these songs of these bands releases, and it'd be so diverse. It's like so
That's nice though.
it was a really good week. Yeah, it really was. So,
So it'll be a good playlist to check out. So everyone should go check it out.
so
A little
I was
something for everybody.
there is something for everybody on that. So most definitely.
All right.
Power metal was represented a few
Yeah.
times. There was a couple of wrote your name by, so I'll have to tell you about some.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's see. Well, speaking of power metal, I'll go ahead and I haven't written this. I haven't written this one up yet, but I last week I did do I did listen to the new album by Theocracy called Mosaic, the one that you turned me on to. I did go ahead and listen to that. Uh, Theocracy, they are a epic progressive power metal band from Athens, Georgia. So you don't hear that too often. You don't hear that too often in this country.
Well,
Um,
you sure it didn't
you're,
say Greece?
what's that?
You sure that didn't say Greece, not
No,
Georgia?
it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't say Athens, Greece. Well, of course, that would make more sense because I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
Europe usually has that kind of stuff on lockdown. But
Hmm.
members of the band: Jonathan Hines on guitar, Matt Smith on guitar, vocals, and keyboards, Jared Oldham on bass, Ernie Topran on drums, and Taylor Washington on lead guitar. This is their one, two, three, four, fifth full length album. Their debut album came out in 2003, leading up to the new album in 2023. Their lyrical themes are Christianity, life, and theology. Of course, Christianity, theology, is kind of redundant. Um, let's see. Uh, the album itself, 10 tracks long, 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 6 seconds, which is heavily bloated by the 10th track, Red Sea, which is 19 minutes and 7 seconds long.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Oh, that one was a journey. I will say this though. I know I'm starting off with the very last track on the album. I will say this though. When I saw that the track listing and I saw that it was a 19-minute song, I was like, "Good God, this is gonna be rough." It wasn't. It was actually very well put together. Don't get me wrong. It was long. It was long and it was a journey, but it was composed very well. There were a lot of twists and turns. There was some up tempo parts, there was some ballady type parts. It kind of told a story, and there were a couple of songs on the album, Red Sea included, as you can tell by the title of the song, that had a little bit of a Mediterranean feel to it,
Hmm.
which again is odd for a band out of Athens, Georgia. Um, but it was very well put together. Um, I really don't go. I've said this before on other album reviews. I don't really care for progressive too much because a lot of times it can go in a lot of strange directions. Thankfully, they didn't really do that too much on this one. They still kind of kept it primarily focused on the power metal part, which is good because that's one of the subgenres I really like. Um, let's see. Matt Smith, the vocalist, he was belting it out. Excellent vocalist. The musical composition, like I say, was done pretty well. Um, I'm gonna give this one 3.5 horns out of 5. So that one wasn't too bad. Definitely worth listening to, especially for my fellow power metal fans. Leading up to today, I listened to the new album Blood Lightning, their self-titled album. They are a heavy metal slash hard rock band formed in Boston, Massachusetts in 2020. This is their debut LP or EP, depending on who you ask. Heavy metal or heavy music HQ has it listed as an EP. Encyclopedia Metallum has it listed as an. Let me back up. Heavy Music HQ has it listed as an LP. Encyclopedia Metallum has it listed as an LP. Spotify has it listed as an EP. It is 6 tracks and 27 minutes and 54 seconds. So it could go either way. I've definitely listened to shorter LPs. I've definitely listened to longer EPs. Um, so it could go either way. Track 6, "Disturbing the Priest," is actually a Black Sabbath cover, so that kind of skews it a little bit. There's actually only 5 original tracks, so this one's probably more of an EP. But I'm gonna err on the LP side because more of the outlets had it listed as an LP. I don't necessarily agree though that they're with the hard rock moniker for this band. They are more of a full fledged heavy metal band. Um, there are there are shades of like Tool and Black Label Society kind of sprinkled in there. So I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say that it's like super duper up tempo, but it is heavy. You have Bob Maloney on bass, J.R. Roach on drums, Doug Sherman on guitar, and Jim Healy on vocals. And as far as I can tell, they are all the original members. Of course, they've only been together for 3 years, so hopefully they wouldn't have had any lineup changes so far. Um, Straight, clean vocals throughout. Very well done. Like I say, not super super duper fast paced, but some slightly progressive elements from Tool, some kind of groovy, kind of bluesy stuff, and like some of the Black Label Society vein. So yeah, not too bad. I'm going to give this one 3.5 horns out of 5 too. Pretty solid debut. I think they definitely got they definitely have a foundation that they can build on. So I think they got a good start going on. And then obviously October 20th wouldn't be October 20th if we didn't spend a little bit of time talking about the new album from Angela Sapitrita, Aftermath, that came out today that we both listened to. Um, I think it was phenomenal. I didn't expect it to not be. Of course, at this point, we're kind of biased towards Angela Sapitrita, so I'll admit a little bit of a personal bias for sure. But I thought it was fantastic. I thought the one of the things I liked the most about the album is it actually showed another step in the band's maturity.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
They experimented with it wasn't just a straight thrash metal album throughout. And
Hmm.
normally that would kind of be a complaint, a little bit of a complaint. But I mean, they experimented with some slightly longer songs. To whom it may concern was right around 8 minutes, but it had tempo and rhythm changes, and it kind of reminded me of like what Machine Head does with some of their songs, where it kind of sounds
Yeah,
like where it's kind of like got like a beginning, a middle, and end stanza in it. Like in each segment sounds like a different song. I kind of like when Machine Head does that. So To Whom It May Concern kind of did that, and obviously, Snob and Cold, the other two singles that came out ahead of time. Of course, very well done. Um,
there's a lot. There was a few guests on here. This one too.
yeah,
Like
I
Tyler Torrey was on a song, and I was like, wow.
yeah
And of course, you had
yeah
Jamie Johnson
yeah.
on the Snob song. So
Yep, Jamie Josta on Snob. You had Todd Latore on Vultures and Butterflies, and then you had. Oh, hold on a second. Then you had. There were a couple other guests. Hold on, just one second. Let me look them up. Then you had. Shit, hold on. Then you had Pablo Garcia on Fire Eyes, and then you had Show High, which I don't know. I'll admit I don't know who Show High is.
yeah, I don't either.
Who was the featured guest on What Kills Us All? That song had a pretty cool part where it was, and I'm sure it was by Show High. I'm not 100% sure, where it was in Spanish. So I thought that was kind of cool that they did throw a little bit of their native language in there. So I thought
Yeah,
that was really cool.
he is a Spanish player. So.
Okay, yeah. So that was very well done. I like that. Um, I don't know how this band isn't any bigger than it is. I think it's only because they're not from here. Jason, you and I have talked about it before. They're probably real big in Spain where they're
Oh,
from.
they're fucking huge over there.
They've
Like,
got to be.
even,
This band
even
is
in Europe, if you go and look at their last tour, and they took
yeah,
those shots from
yeah,
for the fans. Oh, dude,
yeah,
it was deep, dude. So
yeah.
yeah, they're definitely bigger there than they are here, which is sad because I think they should be a lot bigger here as well. So
They should be. They're so good. And I noticed that Guillermo kind of did some different things with his own vocals
mhm.
on this album. He still has his straightforward, hard charging, aggressive vocals, and then a lot of songs when he gets to the chorus, he goes back to his melodic, clean
Mhm.
singing, which I really like the balance he finds with that. But on track one, Scavenger, he went a little deeper with his aggressive vocals, and then on the song Cold, which was the lead single when it came out, he had some Chuck Billy moments
Oh yeah,
that I noticed in that song too, which of course you're not going to argue. You're not going to get any argument from me. If you get a little bit of a shout out to Chuck Billy on anything. So I
Twice in one night.
I know. So I'm saying I honestly didn't. I don't know about you, but I didn't really find anything about this album I didn't like. And like I say, I am biased, but I was trying to make sure that I wasn't listening to the album with, rose-colored glasses on. So I didn't really find anything wrong with the album. I'm not saying it's a perfect album, but I didn't find anything wrong with it. The only one if I have to find a critique, it will be this. I like that Angela Sapatrita is to the point where they're getting guests on the album, and you're talking about Jamie Josta and Todd Latore. So, I mean, those are pretty big names.
Right.
I don't really know too much about Pablo Garcia and Shohei. I don't really know too much about those guys. But the fact that they're getting to the point where they're getting guests on their album, I like that they're getting to that point. My only critique is be careful with how many guests you have, because
Yeah.
that's one thing that annoys the shit out of me about like rap. Like every song is blah 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 featuring blah blah blah, blah blah
Yeah.
blah featuring. Blah.
I mean,
I think you can go too far with having guests.
unless you're
So
like Apocalyptica, and you're just you're expected to have a different singer.
yeah, because Apocalyptica is all instrumental
Yeah.
anyway, so that makes sense. But so I just hope they don't go overboard with the guests. So I guess if that's
But I think it was just kind of one of those things where they're trying to push the next level. You know what I'm saying?
and I'm glad that it looks like they're reaching. That's what I'm saying. I just hope, just
Because if you think about it, that's Jamie Josta and Talatore, of course, are American. So I mean, if you're getting that kind of thing, I think that's
exactly, yeah,
why they did it. Because if you think about it, they just did that tour here last year, and it wasn't as promising as it probably they
it
thought it was.
should have been, yeah,
I mean, it should have been in our eyes. Yeah,
it
exactly.
should have been,
But
absolutely should have been.
and we still blame it on bad promoting. I don't think it was anything to do with any other bands.
No, I
Uh,
don't think so either.
but because I think the grouping of the bands were great. I mean, the
Hmm.
booking had all the 3 or 4 bands that were there was freaking great. It was
Yeah,
awesome. But I think that if they seen that and they said, oh, what if we try to get a couple people from the states on this show? Maybe we'll get a little bit more reach there. And
yeah,
I think that makes more. I think that makes perfect sense. I mean,
it does,
you know,
it
the
does.
same as if if we're over here and we're in a band and we're like, hell, we need to reach out and do some shit in Europe, man.
Hmm.
Okay, well, let's get some Udo or some Doro or something on our shit.
Something, yeah,
It's just like, so I mean, you get some European flavor on there, then you gotta kind of be like, oh shit, these guys, and if you got a Queensryche fan or something, you're like, oh, Tyler Torrey's on this, and then they just discovered Angela Tapatria, you know what I mean?
yep,
So,
yeah.
and I think that same thing with, and honestly, I mean, what better person can you have on a fucking guest on your album than fucking Jamie Josta? He has a goddamn internet show, for Christ's sakes.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean, if he's not gonna, and you guarantee he's gonna fucking, you know, promote the
Oh, he's
fucking,
definitely going to play the song that he
yeah.
guested on for sure. Absolutely.
Because
Like I
I
say,
mean, dude,
they.
we met them. They're good dudes. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah. And like I say, I don't have a problem with the people that they got for guests. It's just one of my things. It's kind of okay.
yeah.
I just don't want to. I wouldn't have wanted them to go probably more than the 4 guests that they had. Like if they would have done like 5 or 6, like okay, that's just too many.
I mean,
So
kind of like what Ozzy did on his last album. Yeah,
yeah, and I still thought that was actually too many. So
it
when
was.
you so when you were talking about Ozzy saying I'll probably only have like one guest on this album, that's why I said I agreed wholeheartedly because of what I just talked about with this. Of course, Ozzy doesn't of course he doesn't need guests, but
Right.
still it's just one of those things. Like I say, if I had to find a critique, that would be it. But I mean, just
There
so
was a
what, man?
there was a little bit of a slower tempo song on that album too. I thought I can't remember which one it was, but when I was listening to it, I was like, wow, this is different for Angela
Yeah.
Sacritas. So,
Yeah. Well, to whom it may, like I say, to whom it may concern was by and
well, it was
large,
was it,
it
well,
was.
it wasn't one of the ones they released though.
I can't remember
I can't
which one it
remember. I can't
was.
remember which one it was, but yeah, it wasn't one they released.
It may have been Fire Eyes because Scavenger was up tempo, Cold and Snob Cold and Snob were the singles. To Whom It May Concern was one of the singles, but it went back and forth. Rats
Mm-hmm.
was up tempo. Guernica was up tempo. I Am Hatred was slower tempo, but it was super dark.
Mm-hmm.
And then What Kills Us All was up tempo. And
Did you hear something?
yeah, you didn't play that?
Yeah, I was just seeing you moving. I'm like, wait a minute, did he hear that? Because y'all hadn't been hearing this shit when I play it.
Yeah, I heard it.
Oh, well, nice. Fuck.
Yeah, I
Okay.
heard it.
Guess it just decides to work when it fucking wants to.
Yeah, it must. It probably does. So I can't remember what others with the other. I
I
can't
think it
remember
may
the
have
other.
been. I think it may have been this firehouse track. Or maybe not.
I don't remember. I'm gonna have to listen to
Yeah.
the.
Well, I
I'll
mean,
have,
like I said, I only went through it once, so
me
I mean,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, me
So it's
too.
definitely gonna have to be.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to listen to it
Well, there'll
again.
be a lot of run throughs because I'm sure I'm going to wind up buying some portion of this motherfucker in my hand. So
Yeah.
one
Uh,
way, one way or the other. So
right. But I'm
I think
gonna
I think it's definitely in the conversation of top three for me right now. So
for me like for me right now, this one is probably going one on one with the new Overkill for album of the year. If I had to right now, for me, I would say it's probably neck and neck with that one.
we're,
So
we're definitely
obviously, I'm
summers.
right. I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, easy.
Yeah, I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5. So
I can agree with it. So,
yeah.
all right. Well, what do we got for next week? So we can kind of go and pick something and try to do a write up or something next
Yeah,
week.
well, actually, yeah, we will actually have to do an actual write up next week because as a reminder, we will not be. Jesus Christ, this is a long list. Has a long list. So reminder, we will not be on the air next week. So all right, October 27th is coming Friday. Leading off with Aaron Cravens with Regenerate. Agris with Invoking the Abysmal Night, Acadian with The Devil Has Evolved, that's an EP, The Amenta with Plague of Locusts, Anywhere but Now with Utopia, Autopsy with Ashes, Organs, Blood, and Crypts, Bacterial Husk with Anthropogenic Ruin, Berserker Legion with Chaos Will Reign, Bonafide with Are You Listening, Broder with Scar Predator Fossilet, Cardinal's Folly with Live by the Sword, Cemetery Urn with Suffer the Fallen, Cerulean with Carrion Angel, that's an EP, Closure in Moscow with Soft Hell, Cor Leone with Alive, Crow Dead with Tearing Your Soul Apart, Darkness is My Canvas with White Noise, that's an EP, Darren Michael Boyd with Hexology, Dead Serenity with When Worlds Turn to Gray, Dokken with Heaven Comes Down, Doro with Conquerus, Forever Strong and Proud,
Looking forward to that
couple what's that?
one. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. A couple re-releases from Drawn and Quartered. We have Extermination Revelry and To Kill is Human. Ecocide with Metamorphosis. Ephra Ensika with 1,000 Vultures Waiting to be Fed. Ego Planet with a self-titled album. Elm Street with The Great Tribulation. End with The Sin of Human Frailty. End Seeker with Global Warming. Erection House with Feels of Correction. I know.
Why did that sound like a Steel Panther album?
Yeah, kind of did. Ershatu with Zibalba, Eternal Evil with The Gates Beyond Mortality, Farsoth with Morbid Symphonies, Flesh of the Stars with The Glass Garden, Flucked with Omen of Darkness, Fly to the Sun with a self-titled album, Freak Show with So Shall It Be, Ghosts of Atlantis with Riddles of the Sycophants, Glacier Eater with Tempest, Graven Dagger with a self-titled album, Grave Send with Gowanus Death Stomp, The Guru Guru with Make Less Babies. That's good advice. Hellfrost with a self-titled album, Hollow Front with The Fear of Letting Go, Howling Giant with Glass Future, Ignited with Cradle of the Wicked, Iku Turso with Equinen Kyros, that's an EP, Immortal Guardian with Unite and Conquer, Impalement with The Dawn of Blackened Death, Infernalizer with After Dark, In This Moment with God Mode. Oh, see, there you go. New
Yeah.
In This Moment next week. Johann Kilberg's Impera with Scandinavium Alive. That's a CD DVD combo. You don't get too many of those anymore. King Falcon with a self titled album. Lake Malice with Post Genesis. That's an EP. Legendary with Time Immortal Wept. Excuse me. Light Lorn with At One with The Night Sky. Lucid Sins with Dancing in the Dark. Mellow Carpet. Malocarpatan with Vetumnus Caesar, Mangled Carpenter with Salvation Syndrome, Mark Tremonti with Christmas Classics New and Old. I don't know what metalhead's going to listen to that one. Martyrdom with As Torment Prevails, Mavro Gala with Tenderness, Mort with Fabulous Vulgaris, Motley Crue with Shout at the Devil 40th Anniversary Edition, Morning Mist with Amen, Mouth for War with Bleed Yourself,
Mm.
Nebel Cray with Ephemer, Nebula, live wired in Europe, Night with Darkness, Silence, Mirror Flame, that's a re release, Noidva with Lapish, Shetanism, Shatanism, I don't know, Nios with Waterfall Cave Fantasy Forever, Obscura with a Celebration 1 live in North America. We have Orhex with Valkenjabed, I don't know. Of Virtue with Omen, Omission with Disciples of Raven's Vengeance, One of Nine with Eternal Sorcery, Pattern Seeking Animals with Spooky Action at a Distance. We have Pine Capital with a self-titled album, Phantom Winter with Her Cold Materials, The Plague with Erosion of Gods, Poppy with Zig, Prospective with Reasons to Leave, Ragana with Desolation's Flower, Raining Nails with Human Deeds, Ramage Inc. with Humanity Has Failed, Red Rain with Don't Look Back, Robin Trower with Joyful Sky, Scorpion T with a self-titled album, Sepulchral Curse with Abhorrent Dimensions, Set to Stun with Valkyrie 1, Shadow Spawn with Blasphemica, or Blasphemica, I guess. 6 Going on 7 with Self-Made Mess, that's a re-release. Sky Empire with The Shifting Tectonic Plates of Power, Part 1. Sorcerer with Reign of the Reaper. Summoning Death with A Traumatic Night of the Creeps, that's an EP. Hell, that could be an album about going to Broadway in Nashville on a Friday. We have Sue All with a self-titled album. Oh, here you go. Sweatpants Boner with Regurgitation of Bonerific Cuisine. Taking Back Sunday with 152, Three Eyes of the Void with The Atheist, Testimony of Apocalypse with The Offering. We have Phanamagus with Lion Wait, that's an EP. We have Throat with We Must Leave You, Tortuga with Iterations, Tower Hill with Deathstalker. We have Tumandaband with Throne of Grief, Veil of the Serpent with Gallery of Sin 2, that's an EP. We have Venom live from the Hammersmith Odeon Theater CD DVD combo. Hey, 2 in 1 week. Violent Blend with Live and True, Voconus with Exist Within Light, that's an EP. We have Varsity with Levitate, Wargasm with Venom, Wayfarer with American Gothic, WEB with Into Hellfire We Burn, that's an EP. White Tundra with a self-titled album, and last but far from least, we have Witching with Incendium. So yeah.
Nice. A couple of big name bands on there.
Yeah. And Rosemary, you're right. Just go back to one of your comments. Some doom metal songs are 15 minutes. Yeah, some are long. And then you got that one that Dana told us about that was 83 minutes long that I listened to.
Yeah, I wasn't about to do that. I was like, I'm good.
I was too intrigued when he told me about it not to listen to it.
All right. So again, next week we won't have a show.
Won't have a show.
We are going to try to put together a playlist
Mhm.
for Halloween.
For Halloween.
So, yeah, we will try to do that. And then the following week, November 4th,
on Saturday, which is a Saturday, when we come back from the break.
Yeah, we'll be on a Saturday, November 4th. We're going to be talking with Elvin and kill his last name. It's a Sismadia. I think is his last name, but he is the vocalist and guitarist for Eradicate,
Yeah, yeah,
thrash
and
metal
that
band. Sweden,
and
back in Sweden.
yep, back to Sweden we go. And so that show is going to be on a Saturday. It is going to be November 4th, and it is going to be 9 a.m. Central Time. So 10 o'clock in the Eastern Time Zone, 8 o'clock Mountain. So check your local listings, all that good shit, like they say on TV. So, yeah, we're looking forward to talking to another thrash metal band from Sweden. Jeez.
Yeah, that's what's so crazy. Like we were just talking about a power metal band from Georgia, but I mean that thrash metal bands out of Sweden has been like a thing here recently with us too. It's like
Yeah, it has.
I was like, I mean, it's not normally something you would say about a thrash metal band. It's like, oh,
Oh, and I'm definitely not mad at it.
well, no, I'm not because we've talked to some great bands from over
Yes,
there.
we
So,
have.
I mean, this was not going to be any different because that album was freaking unreal. Loved it. So definitely
Yeah.
can't wait to talk more about the album
Oh
EP
yeah.
them too. So there's some other stuff that I kind of wanted to get some answers on for the album.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
kind of curious about. So it's gonna be interesting to.
Oh yeah.
And also, I promise, I will have that John O'Connor video up on Spotify uh, this weekend. Hopefully by tomorrow.
So yep, look out for that. And then we will get this week's rather lengthy
Yeah,
theme of the week playlist. We'll get that put together. We'll get that posted. You want to check out any and all of our past playlists, even our last year's Halloween 1.0. That one's on there. So head on over to Spotify and search for Metalheads Unite. You'll find every single one of them. They're all there. And if you don't want to listen to one of our playlists on Spotify, you can see our radio station down there at the bottom at stream.trulyradio247.com/8006/stream. We have our email address, metalheadsuniteusa@gmail.com. We have metalheadsuniteusa.com for our merch store. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Rumble, Twitch, Facebook, X if you want to. I'll try to do more stuff on there. Rumble, follow, check out all the shows on YouTube. Um, Come on over to Facebook. That's our thumbnail right there on Facebook. That is the official Metalheads Unite. There are other Metalheads Unite groups that are not nearly as active as we are. So if you want to come on over and join us over at Facebook, that's what you're looking for. Send us a member request, and we'll get you guys hooked up.
because I feel like we're too active. I don't know if that's even a thing.
Hell, sometimes even with as active as we are, sometimes I still feel like we're not active enough. Sometimes I feel bad that we're not more active.
Yeah, we got a lot of people in our group that share those
Yeah, we
things.
do, which is
Not just
nice. We have a lot of collaborators, which is good.
not just us.
Ross, Mary, and Dana being two
Yeah,
of them.
we want to thank them for dropping by tonight as well as Aunt Amy there. So
As Aunt Amy, yep.
like always, we
Yep.
appreciate them stopping in. So
Yeah. We've got Tennessee represented, we got Hawaii represented, and we have South America represented this evening.
yeah, so
Octavio must have been busy, so our
oh
buddy
yeah,
Octavio, our buddy Octavio in Mexico, he must have been busy because he's usually here too. So,
yeah.
but we get it. Like I say, life happens sometimes, which is why we're taking a break next week. So, hope to see everybody back next. Not next week. I almost said next week. Hope to see everybody back in 2 weeks.
On a
November,
Saturday.
yep, November 4th on a Saturday. Special day, special time. So we will have Eradicated on the show. So we're looking forward to that. So
All right, I guess that will wrap this one up. Kind of went a little long there, but that's all right. So
yeah, 2.5 hours. Not too bad.
yeah, get everything in. So lot of stuff to talk about when you're off 2 weeks. So, which we'll have it again unless we get some more.
Yes, we will.
Unless we get some more people lined up for interviews, and then I'll just like at that point let's say screw it. But I will try to get better with the birthdays. I'll at least try to. Maybe I'll try to do at least a day or two, and then post it, something like that on the group page, so we're not leaving anybody out. So.
Yeah, good idea.
All right. Well, until next time, which is over
2 weeks. weeks.
You guys keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.
Have a great week, you guys. Thank you very much.